glad you guys were able to, come on this cold morning. But you're definitely right in the right place to learn more on how to close more deals with Facebook ads. Have you guys done any kind of, Facebook advertising yet?
I have not.
Okay. And I remember you told me. Why don't you just share your, your experience with advertising? Because you have a background in advertising.
Okay, so I have a background in advertising. I used to work in ad agencies in the city as a writer and creative director. So, I've been doing it from a creative standpoint, but not from an implementation standpoint, where we have to, actually target and choose the target and figure all that out. So when I got into real estate last year, I watched some videos online, and I just did like this basic targeting, and that's
On Facebook?
Yeah.
Okay.
So instead of boosting a post, like everybody, you do a post and you boost, actually would create ads from, scratch and just target it and then send it to, at first for a while I had a landing page, but I wasn't really capturing any leads from that. And then, so right now I'm just sending it to one of, like if I do listing ads, I just send it to my listing, but it's not a lead capture. So basically my ads are just kind of just awareness ads, because I haven't been capturing any leads, because I don't have a lead. Up until like 2 weeks ago, I didn't have a lead capture system really. So that's what it's been, but I've been getting like good results, like my click-through rates usually have been up like over 10%, so that's pretty good.
That's really good, yeah.
But I don't have my lead capture sucks, so that's
I actually have been working with Brendan for a little bit, couple months. Well, actually, I started in September, but then I had family coming over, so I signed up for 3 months, but I paused after the first month. I just resumed. I closed 2 deals, one in December, a small deal, and then one I just closed last week. So I am able to get the leads, but when I was working with Brendan, he helped me in terms of refining my niche. I tried different towns, and I found that in White Plains is where I get most leads.
Yeah, and I'll go more into how to figure out which market to farm in, so to speak. But yeah, we'll start from the beginning. We're not going to be going over simple things like how do you create a Facebook business page and things like that, because you can just Google that and go on Facebook help and figure that out. We'll be going more into the actual strategy on how to, what kind of ads are we creating, how to target these people, and how not to get banned, things like that. This workshop is to provide you guys with tremendous value. I want to make sure you guys are equipped with all the tools and resources you guys need to in order to build out these Facebook ads from beginning to end and get results, basically, inspire action. If you get all you want in life if you help enough other people get what they want. So I think that if you help enough people where you help them get what they want, eventually you'll get what you want. I think it's a whole back and forth karma kind of thing. A little bit about me. I went to Stony Brook University in Long Island. Do you guys know that? Oh, okay. For biomedical engineering. So it's a little bit off the track. Yeah. And then I started working at a medical device company called ChemBio. They make rapid testing diagnostics test arrays. And I wasn't really enjoying my time there, and I feel like I had more potential in me. I'd always had a passion in real estate, and I eventually worked as an assistant for a few brokerages and advertising for them, and then eventually I started my own business called Social Powerhouse, where I help now real estate agents and brokerages get them leads and convert those leads into deals. So now introductions. If you guys want to introduce yourselves to each other, I know we did like a brief introduction, but just to get everyone familiar, this is a pretty small room, so I think we can have more of a discussion instead of a lecture. I'm also a licensed real estate agent too. So, and fun fact about me, I have done I've played piano and done Taekwondo for more than 10 years. So that's a fun fact for me. And for piano, I can ear almost any
Okay.
song. Do you want to start off?
Sure. I'm Bill D'Ambrosio. I'm a pretty new agent, basically like a year or so ago. I licensed, I work at Rand Realty here on White Plains. My area is basically like central Westchester. I don't have a specialty right now. My marketing, I'm doing Facebook marketing. Basically, that's really my marketing. I have some farming, direct mail farming, but I think that's like such an old system. But I do a lot of prospecting. I call a lot of expireds and FISBOs.
Okay.
And then in my sphere. My fun fact, and I don't know if it's fun, but I've slept at least one night in every state. So,
Wow, that's interesting.
That's my-
Very nice. Nice.
Okay.
I'm Aggie Golia. I work for Their Homes, Gardens, and Indoor Shop. I've worked for my son as manager of his very small brokerage. He's a real estate attorney, and I left there because I wasn't getting the leads that I needed to get. So I came with a larger firm to hope that would work a little bit better. And my specialty, well, I taught for 20 years, and I've been in real estate probably for 18 years. I'm an associate broker. Just looking to really get involved with Facebook and this new technology that everybody else seems to be on board with, and I'm not. So that's a problem. I need to get involved with advertising that I'm not doing. So clearly it isn't my son's brokerage, it's me, and I need to fix that. Fun facts, I don't have them that much fun anymore. I do a lot of, I used to be fun, but I do a lot of traveling to Europe. I like to go
Oh.
to Europe.
Oh, okay, cool.
Mostly Italy and France. Germany and places, but they're
Do you
retirement almost.
do you find that with when you move to a smaller brokerage to a larger one, you do find the leads? Because you said at the smaller brokerage.
The answer is no.
Okay.
Because everything is
That's what I
through
found too.
Facebook. I was blaming him. He's a real estate attorney, so he has a lot of information and a lot of
Tony?
people. But they're really after they purchase something. And my husband was helping me because he worked for a Japanese firm, so I did a lot of relocation of people from Japan, which was great. I loved it. But then he left that company, so that was where that lead dried up. And now we need to get into Facebook because that's the only way, I agree with you that it's not paper anymore.
Yeah.
It isn't paper anymore. It's using social media,
Yeah.
unfortunately. And I'm a dinosaur when it comes to this. That's it. So I need to catch up.
Okay.
My name is Daniel Kalish. I'm an attorney. Real estate is not my field. I've been a personal injury attorney for 30 years, and I've been in the business of real estate less time than Bill, just the end of last year, 2018. And I'm affiliated with Coldwell Banker in Dobbs Ferry, and I think those are fun facts.
Okay, it could be fun.
This guy, he's a funny person.
It could be fun.
So I'm Carol Hui. I'm with Woodland & Lawrence. I think this is my fourth year. Prior to using Facebook, I was using Realtor.com. It worked for me the first year. However, I think they started to oversell. So I remember when I first started about 3-4 years ago, you used to get dedicated leads. So when they send you a lead, you have that number. But somehow, I think the following year they changed it, so they send it to 2 people. If you're not quick enough to call the person, if you're with a client or something, you don't get the lead. Somebody else call. And also, the high number, if it's a high, like a $900,000 lead, someone calls it in a second. Those that are like $100,000 co-op, they don't call. So you end up stuck with these low price ones, if any. So after the second or third year, I wasn't getting any lead from Realtor.com. They were all useless. So that's when when Brendan approached me, I said, okay, let me try that one. So technically I've been on it like in September for a month, and then I took a little break because of family visit, and then now I'm back on it. I already closed 2 deals. So I'm trying to see, I'm trying to have Brendan work with me to get more areas where I can get more leads.
And I know you're not too, or you don't know as much about Facebook as you like.
Yeah, I learn more about, what happens in the background. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Do you guys watch Family Guy?
Yep.
Have you guys seen it?
Yeah.
So this is, if you guys don't know, left is Peter Griffin, right is Chris. And this whole workshop is pretty much, if you guys don't have any prior experience to Facebook advertising, this is what it's gonna feel like, where it's just gonna be a hose of information, and it's gonna be, there's no way you're gonna be able to take in everything and absorb everything. So just try to get as much as you can, and then I'm also gonna point out the important details that you should definitely not miss. Also, if you have any big questions, just feel free to write it down, and then I have like a Q&A section where I'll answer, any and every question that you have. And then we also have a roadmap and an action plan that I'm going to hand you guys out, so you guys can plan out how you're going to, move forward and, take action basically. So can you guys tell me what that is?
Gold nugget.
Oh yeah. Some people said it looked like a.
Popcorn.
Yeah, exactly. So, like I said, I'm going to be giving you like a fire hose of info and strategy and tactics, and so there's no, like I said, there's no way you're going to absolutely absorb everything. So, for the very important ones, I'm going to have like this gold nugget on the side. So, that's for you to just write it down, remember it for later, and then start that note, whatever it is, and then we can go back to it. So this is going to be the agenda. We've gone through the first one, welcome and introductions, and then after that we're going to first go through how not to get your ad banned, because once your ad account is banned, then you have to, it's the whole process getting it unbanned, and then if it doesn't, then you have to start a whole new brand new Facebook profile and everything, and you guys don't want that, especially if you've built up this online presence. To have that deleted is, it's a shame. So
Your whole profile is deleted if you get banned, if you have an ad ban.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm saying if your whole business page is banned.
You need a new page then.
Yeah, if you have enough ads that are just banned over and over again, they're going to disable your ad account, and then from there you can't run any ads from it. Which,
Why would your ad be banned?
That's what he's gonna tell us right now.
yeah, so there could be a lot of reasons. I'm going to get to it, but you really don't want that ad account banned. And I mean, it happens. I've gotten ads banned before. It's really there's a whole policy that I advise you guys to go through, just so it's for your own knowledge.
They publish these policies.
Yes, and I'm going to give you the link too. Okay, so speaking of that,
Thank you so much.
the world has changed a lot, as you guys know, in terms of the whole digital landscape. I want to ask you guys, in your opinion, how it changed. What has it changed in terms of business and life? What do you guys think?
What year are you starting at? Which year?
I would say
You want to start?
2000s. Moving on to the new
I think it's
century.
information over.
Okay.
I think
It's
it's,
too much sometimes. I wish it was less.
yeah, I think it made a lot of things easier, and I think it scared a lot of people who are afraid of change. It's kind of like I remember, I'm gonna use this analogy, when I was starting out in advertising, there were older people there who were there when it was moving from radio to television. And they didn't move to television as writers and art directors. They stayed in radio. They were afraid, and so they were left behind. They didn't move with the progress. So
Yeah.
it's made things easier. I mean, we live on our phones. We can do everything on our phones basically.
Yep.
It's overload, but if you decide how much you want, right? But let's be honest. I mean, you have
can-
everything there.
Yeah, I saw a picture where your smartphone, the equivalent to that, I think it was a huge, this room was full of things,
The
and
old days,
yeah, and that, I mean, you can find almost anything you need, any kind of information you want, Google is you can ask any question almost. So yeah, No, definitely it changed. I think since the .com, I mean, you guys would know better than me, but the .com I think is what really, you know, spearheaded that. And before we were in an industrial age, and now we're in an information age, where, you know, like Kella said, we're in an information overload. Anything we want, we can find, and that can be good, and it can also be bad. You know, in terms of everything, you know, life, and also your guys for your business. It can be good, and it can also be bad. Because now there's, you know, your ideal client could be seeing all these ads, you know, all these ads. So what is really making you guys really pop out and choose you as to represent you, you know, as an agent, as opposed to tons of other realtors out there, you know? What do you guys, and I'll be mainly going over, for social media, there's a lot of different social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Google, Pinterest, you know, Snapchat, there's a lot. I'll be mainly going over Facebook because Facebook is the largest social media platform. It has the most active users, and it allows us to get as targeted as we can in terms of, you know, advertising.
I see it in my office. There's a lot of longtime agents in my office who basically, for the last 10, 15 years, everything was referral. They never marketed because it was referral. And then now they're the ones really complaining because they're not getting business because new agents come in or whatever.
They're on the internet.
Yeah.
If you think about it, you have to keep connected with all these people. And, you know, if you're not a very social person or what's the word, extroverted person who keeps in touch with all these people, hangs out with them often, then, you know, you're going to lose these connections because these people, you know, they have their own lives. They're probably talking to other people, and they might meet an agent or something, you know? Or why do you think your potential clients are moving towards, you know, away from the referral network?
Because they live on the internet.
Yeah, exactly.
They have more information.
Mm-hmm. Because
They're
we're
exposed to more people.
I think that also for the younger, I don't, you know, generation, right? I still have a lot of clients that are referring, but those that tend to be a little bit older.
Yeah. They know
Yeah.
more people. I remember growing up, I think in my family we knew like one real estate agent we could order a house from.
Yeah.
Now, they're like all over the place.
Yeah, like now every third person is an agent because it's easy to be an agent, but it's just hard to stay in the business.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have been to Orange County in California, but I heard that there's a saying that like everyone's cousin is a real estate agent. I think like more than 50% are real estate agents. So just imagine how hard it is to get business there. So, you know, 92 started searching online, and then 70% found an agent online. You know, this could be through any kind of online source. So Zillow, Trulia, Google. You know, they might have Googled for a house and then saw the house and bought it, or they could have researched, you know, Rand Realty and then found a number and then called it. And then,
By the way, I want to say, last week I received a call from out of the blue, and it was this guy from Irvington, and he said, "Oh, I just found, I want to list a house with you." And I'm like, "How did you find me?" I was listing another house, and I was sending out these just listed cards, and I thought he might, and he is in the same area. So I thought he called me because he got the just listed. But he said, "No, I just looked up Irvington, Houlihan Lawrence in Irvington, and I just found your name." I'm like, out of all the people, he chose me, you know? So I'm gonna meet him actually today at 4 o'clock. But, you know, people nowadays, they may not go for the referral portion. You know, and I think some people, they actually don't want to go with their friends because you're disclosing a lot of personal information, like your pre-approval, how much you make, that sort of thing, right?
right.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of danger out there on the internet that
Yes.
should be
Yes.
considered. You get someone that looks at your photo and
Yeah.
calls you out of the
Yeah.
blue. I'd like to know where the connection was made, and maybe not meet that person. You must meet that person in your office.
Right, but
Yeah.
Not meet them outside.
Right, but this is a seller meeting them at their home. I've
Okay.
talked with them before.
Okay.
I think all those like killer, you know, agent killers, they're mostly on the west side because they're the houses are farther apart.
Well,
I think.
Oh, you mean in the Midwest or something?
Yeah, I think here is a little bit better. You know, I don't feel
Don't
so
let your guard
dangerous.
down.
Yes, I
Don't
understand.
let your
Yeah,
guard down.
yes,
More
definitely.
in this
Mhm.
world.
Yes.
I just went through
It's not a pretty one.
safety training too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 74% of buyers and sellers worked with the first agent that they had a conversation with. And that's, I mean, I've seen that personally. That's pretty believable. And this is a little statistic that I like to show people. So the average cost to reach 1,000 people, this is from a few years ago, so this changed a little bit, but most of it is still right. For newspaper to reach 1,000 people is $32. For magazines, it's $20, radio $8, cable TV $7, and then this is where you really get to the online portion. You know, Google ads, you're getting about $2.75, and then LinkedIn ads 75 cents, and then Facebook ads is 25 cents. And this still holds true. Yeah, go
I
ahead.
think that, so you're paying for your private page, you're paying for your business page?
No.
So how is it Facebook has a 25
So,
cents?
okay, so you have a personal Facebook page, right?
Right,
And you have the option to create a business page.
right.
I'm gonna go over it in a little bit, but you have a chance to, you have the opportunity or the option to build a business page. That business page has to be owned by a personal profile. So it has to be owned by, you know, Aggie Golio, right?
Okay.
And because there's also groups and other, you know, and other things, and other pages and other things like that. So, but it has to be owned by a personal profile, so they know it's a real person who owns it. And then from that personal or business profile, you can have an ad account, which would run the ads. And that's what you would pay for, to run the ads.
Oh, yeah.
Video.
And that's how Facebook makes money,
Oh, there you
Right.
go, I didn't understand how.
because you
Facebook
don't
made
have to
money.
pay to get on there.
No, I
By
understand.
money, you pay in other ways.
If you wanna run an ad, you
You have
pay.
to pay.
No matter what
I didn't
platform,
know that.
ads cost money.
It's just like running an ad in a newspaper.
That's why they're
Except-
$7
100 times the price.
Yeah.
So.
But if you think about it,
Advertisement from other companies, not.
Yeah, but if you think about it-
The contractors too.
exactly, yeah. If you think about it, newspaper companies, you know, they charge you to read it, and you also have to pay for their ads too, you know? And Facebook costs much less.
I just did an open house for the other listing, the just listed that I sent out. I paid $205 to be on the enterprise. The open house, nobody came from the enterprise. Everybody came from the internet. So going forward, I'm not even gonna bother with the enterprise.
Internet being realtor.com or
Uh,
Trulia or.
I'm sure all of your companies, they have, like in my company, they, my listing is on, you know, Coldwell Banker, Rand, all, you know, businesses
Yes,
on
but most
MLS.
people go to one, and for example, like if I was on my phone, you would see.
No, it could be
realtor.com,
anyone, yeah.
this.
Mhm.
That's too specific if you go for one real estate.
Oh,
So
no,
this is
because,
global.
yeah, not global, but because we're all in MLS.
You're right, not global.
Right.
It's local.
Right,
It's-
so my listing is all shared with everybody. So when I have an open house, when it publish, all of the other companies, they will see that there's an open house as well. So whether they go to realtor.com, Zillow, Coldwell Banker, I believe it all say open house, you know, Sunday
It
12 to
does.
2.
It does.
So that's where all the people who walk in for the open house, they all come from internet. Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Zillow and realtor.com
They're
is
the
where
big ones.
it's right there for the.
Yeah.
It's,
Rather than searching Coldwell Banker or Better Homes and
right, no one
Gardens.
does, yeah.
No
I
one
mean,
does.
it's not, no one does it,
Yeah,
but
they
it's, they have to be taken to the page in order for that to happen. No one's just gonna search, oh, I like Coldwell Banker, so I'm gonna go on
Exactly.
there, you know? Usually they'll come from a landing page or something they'll target that traffic to go to that site. But what Kelly was saying, it's called an IDX feed or an internet data exchange, where they will put it into MLS, and then MLS will feed it into all those sites, like Zillow, Trulia, Houlihan Lawrence, you know, Rand Realty, Coldwell Banker.
That's what we all have on our MLS, yeah.
Yeah.
We're all shared.
Right, so once it's on MLS, that's when, you know, your broker's probably has to, you know, to press a button, so then it feeds into all those other sites, but,
Once it's listed, it goes
Yeah.
right there.
so, what I'm trying to really show here is that out of all these things, you know, you're really coming into a great age, because now there's a lot of opportunity. You know, you have the opportunity to get in front of thousands of people for, dollars. I think I had run a video view campaign, and you might have some experience with that, but I ran a video view campaign, and for less than $100, I was able to get, I think, like 10,000 views almost for a single video. And just 10,000 views, it's it builds so much data, because you can work off of that data to retarget certain people who have watched certain portions of that video, and that's really strong. So
Yes, you're
no problem. So what do you guys think Facebook is? I know it's a social media platform, but what do you think it's,
It's an ad platform and a data miner.
Yes, exactly. That's actually exactly it. So this is an important slide, but Facebook is really a data aggregator, and that's how they make their money. That's how they're able to get so targeted with their audiences and target their people so effectively with their ads. That's why it's such a valuable company, because the way that they're able to get their ads to their audience is just unbelievable, and I'll show you.
Does Facebook know what Google searches we're doing and give us ads that come on our Facebook page based on our Google searches?
Yeah.
Nice.
They
All
know.
sites do that.
Yeah.
Well, it's all behavioral.
Yeah.
Like ESPN knows that.
Yeah, they don't allow us to, since the Cambridge Analytica case, they don't allow us to target those people, but we haven't been relying on that anyways, because that's really a short-term, like a short-term solution to a long-term goal. For you guys, and you guys are building a career off of real estate, you don't want to rely on something short-term, and I'll explain in a little bit why that's a short-term goal, a short-term solution, sorry, and why building data is really, what you guys want to be doing. Facebook can, they're aggregating all this information about particular groups based on, sites that you visited, your age group. They've even figured out when you're about to make a purchase on something. So
They
let's
know before you know.
exactly. So there are certain people who exhibit certain behaviors before buying a home. Right? They're on Zillow and Trulia looking. Even Google Maps, they can tell when you're going to these open houses and things like that. So they know when you're, looking to buy a home. This is taken from my phone actually. I don't know if you guys remember what you were doing 4 years ago or 5 years ago, but this is from 2014, and this was at a restaurant/bar that I went to called Brendan's, and I just thought it was cool that it was my name, so I took a picture of it. And they remember the exact day, location that where it was at, and everything. That's not something, and I wouldn't even remember that, So that's just, they can get really targeted in terms of, they build up this data since, I'm not even sure when Facebook was, founded, but ever since then, they've built up, decades of data. So now we're gonna go into what Kella was wondering.
February 2004 it was created.
Okay, so,
18 to 19 years.
yeah, I would say probably 10 years is when they,
2004, 14, 15, right.
yeah. So this this section is designed to basically keep
Want us-
your Facebook out of jail.
Okay.
Like I said, you don't want to be in that place, because once you get flagged, then they're much more strict on what you can send out, what you can't. They like do a double, triple check, because Facebook is really strict on privacy and the targeting and what they're showing to people. I know as real estate agents, there's certain things you can't say or that you can't do, right? You can't talk about the schools and things like that. So that's that's what this section is for. So how not to get your ad banned. There's mainly 3 areas of concerns for Facebook when you're advertising. So first section is the ad account. Like I was saying before, you have a personal Facebook profile and then a business Facebook profile. So I know some of you guys might do business from your personal, but you should really create a business Facebook profile. You can do a lot more with it, and it's just nice to keep things separate, Also, Facebook is encouraging people to use the business manager, because you're more likely to get banned if you don't. Facebook profile. I'm not sure if this will really apply to you guys, but if you have different ad accounts, maybe Daniel, since you have an attorney business as well. But you know, you want to have different credit cards for each file. Do not use PayPal. They want to know it's a real person that's, you know, behind that. So don't be a baller. You know, I know some people, they start off with like, you know, you don't want to go from $5 a day to $1,000 a day in
What does
advertising.
that mean, don't be a baller?
Oh, baller? Oh, maybe it's a millennial term.
It is.
But basically, it's someone who just spends money like it's nothing. You know, baller like, maybe you can help me out, Jose.
Yeah, so
You just
the
spend-
term baller
yeah.
came from first basketball.
Yeah.
And it was a kind of a cultural term that was appropriated into for
Yeah.
millennials, and so balling is like, oh, I'm shooting the 3-pointer.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm killing it. So in terms
Yeah.
of finance, it's like, oh, I have a ton of money, I'm gonna blow it. Don't be
Yeah.
ballers and don't spend too
Yeah, like just
much
blowing
money
money.
on ads too quickly.
Right. Because they want to know you're in it for the long haul and not just, you know, oh, I'm going to spend this and then I don't see results, so I'm going to leave. You know,
So what is considered a good amount?
I would say maybe like around, like, you know, if you, the bare minimum I would say is 5, because how Facebook does its ads is, you know, there's millions of ads going out, right? So each ad is competing for your attention to show up in your feed, show up in your stories, whatever it is. So they're competing, they're bidding, and whatever will get the most amount is what Facebook will show, right? So the more you put into it, obviously, the more your ads will be shown, the more leads that you'll get, and the more reach that you'll have. I would say the bare minimum, like I would say $5 a day, and then you know you can go up from there.
That
And
sounds really little though.
yeah, that's what I'm saying, the bare minimum.
Well, I'm talking about what is a good number.
Oh, good number.
That's
I
a good
would
number
say-
to start with.
Right.
Because
A good number
$5 over 30 days is $150 per month. So you'll learn from that data and then build from there, rather than spending
Yeah.
$20 a day and not really knowing what kind of campaigns you're building.
Yeah,
So $5 like a daily.
daily, but
Significant, $150 a month.
yeah, I mean, I would recommend, you know,
Oh, you don't have to do it every day. So
yeah, you don't have to do it every day, but I would recommend to start off. I would recommend about like 300 to 500, and that gives you more than enough data to, you know, build off of. And I would say 300 to 500 if you're doing well.
I mean, per
Is that
month.
a day, per month?
Oh no, per month. No, 300 to 500 a day is.
Then you're
That's $6,000 a year.
That's when you're really balling.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we just heard from Kella that the average real estate agent makes $3,000
No,
the
the
first
first
year.
year,
The
yeah.
first year.
That's what
Oh,
the
wow.
manager told me when I
So
first
you're
started.
suggesting to spend twice that?
Well, a lot of people aren't doing this, you know, and also a lot of people,
It's the money.
you know, I
It's the
think.
Facebook
Well,
money.
well, but those
You
are,
make more people do
yeah,
this.
but I
I
have
guess
to,
so.
I have to clarify that is the old number, right? Because this was a couple of years ago and
Maybe lower.
before they, yeah. But then, obviously, if you do advertising, you're not gonna be the
Right.
average.
I know a lot of agents the first year they don't spend any money and they don't do a lot of this, you know, and also I think there's another statistic. I think 80% of agents they don't stay in the business after however many years, like either it was 2 or 5 years.
A year.
Oh,
Actually,
1 year.
I heard it was high. I heard it was like 90 or 95% after a year.
Because they did it as a lark.
Yeah.
Or there's no.
What I
I mean-
to be easy.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
You know?
they thought, oh, maybe, you know, I like real estate and I'm a talkative person, I'll give it a try. And then it didn't turn out the way that they expected, and then they quit. So that could also be an attribute to
They
the.
need money to pay for their bills, you know, so they have.
Oh,
a lot of
also,
bills.
yeah, exactly.
I mean-
Also, a lot of people get their license just for one deal, and maybe that deal doesn't go through and they just never use it.
I know people, they just get it to sell their home or buy their home and that's it, you know.
Mm.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, that could also be one. So, you know, you gotta think behind the statistic. You also don't wanna edit or delete disapproved ads. So you can create, you know, 1 million ads, and you can also edit them, but I would not suggest to edit them. I would just, there's an option to duplicate it. So anytime an ad is not going well, you know, for some reason you're not getting leads, whatever it is, I would duplicate the ad and then edit it from there, instead of going into the ad and editing it, because that's when your data will start to get, you know, discombobulated. Because let's say your ad is getting this much reach, right? This much impressions. Impressions is how many times your ad is shown, and then reach is how many people that it's shown to. That's a better way to
Click on
explain it.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Any other questions on that?
So these ads are videos?
No.
No, oh.
It could be an image, it could be a carousel of pictures, it could be a slideshow of pictures where like it'll just go from one picture to the next. It could be a video. So, you know, there's a lot of different things. It could just be a link, you know.
Oh.
It could be an event sign up.
Depends on the ad campaign and the goal of the ad.
Right. And if we have time, I'll actually go into the business manager, into my account, and I'll show you guys what different types of campaigns you can actually build. So I went over how to set up your business manager, right? You have to do this in order to successfully run ads. I won't go too much into this because I'm sure you can figure this out online, and I don't, you know, if you can figure it out online, then I'd rather not spend too much time on that. But all you have to do is go to business.facebook.com and then follow the prompts. You know, they'll tell you exactly how to create it. And like I said, a business manager account has to be tied to a personal profile page.
It
So-
could be tied to your personal page, right?
It has to be tied to a personal
It
page.
has to be.
Yeah. So there are different, like a business page can't create another business page. So like let's say you create a real estate page, business page, right? But you can't create a Coldwell Banker page. You know, let's say. So this is like another strategy that you could do. A lot of you guys might, or you guys are planning on having branded business pages, right? Let's say Aggie Golio, real estate agent, or Bill D'Ambrosio, you know, real estate salesperson or agent, whatever it is. Some people, you know, another strategy is to have a non-branded one. So you might have it as Westchester Homes or Westchester Community, buy or sell, whatever it is. So those are different options, but. And let's say you might want to have that business page create that non-branded page of, you know, Community Westchester, but you can't do that. It has to be tied to a personal one.
Will the people who visit the business page know that it's tied to that particular personal page and be able to have access to the personal page?
I don't think so. No, you can't. Actually, no, you can't. Yeah,
So they
you
can
can do it
follow
for
your
groups.
business page, but doesn't mean that they're gonna be able
Right.
to see all your postings and friends and everything on your personal page.
Correct, yeah, so they're two separate entities. You know, you can't see who created the business page, but for groups, you know, let's say like, I think either Rand Realty or Coldwell Banker has a group where all their agents follow to it so they can post to it, like let's say listings, that you can see who built that group out. So this is what when you actually create an account, this is what it's gonna look like. So you have, this is the interface. You know, this is what your business would look like. So you would, you know, it would be whatever your name / realtor. And then under ad accounts, you're assigned one ad account. You can only create up to 2 until you've actually spent enough money, then you can create up to 5. And then the amount spent and then the number of active campaigns. And the pages here, you would see your page that you built. So if you should definitely go and do this first and then create the page. Because if you create the business page first and then a business manager, then you have to, you know, it's not that much trouble, but then you have to go through the extra step of linking them together. Whereas if you just build it in here, it's already owned by this business basically. You see how it's a business manager? So this was right when you log in. This is what it's gonna look like. And then after, you can go to your ads manager, and this is where you would build out all the ads. So kind of like what I was saying before, how with that chart. So this is one of the ads that we ran. We spent $20, cost per result, and the result for us, we were running a video view campaign for 10-second video views. So that means you are running an ad for a video, and they watch the video for at least 10 seconds. So that one we got it costed 5 cents for a 10-second video view. And the number of impressions was 2,229. So you can reach a lot more people, you know, as opposed to sending out a print area newspaper or something like that. So going back to what I was saying, how not to get your ad banned. First, we went over the ad account, right? How to set it up so that way you don't run it for your personal business, personal Facebook page. So now we're gonna go to the ad itself. You know, you wanna, because this is what the people are gonna see and what you're actually advertising. You wanna get familiar with the Facebook policy. There's certain types of ads that they just won't allow, you know, like making money from home. I'm sure Facebook gets a lot of those and they just don't allow it because it's just considered spammy. Dating, pickup artistry, you know, con artist kinds of things that definitely are illegal, gambling. You just want to avoid those altogether. And I'm sure you guys won't really be doing that anyway, so you should be good on that.
Or even using particular language can get you banned too. Like, you must do this. You can
Right.
click. You can make money from home. You know, certain words will come off as spammy.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, exactly what he was saying. So you can't talk to the audience. How to say it? Yeah, you want to avoid the word using you because that means you're specifically calling that audience out. I would suggest asking maybe a question like, you know, are you a Westchester home buyer? You know,
You
Go
can't
ahead.
even use your name.
I can't use my name, Brendan. You? I mean,
No
no, you.
problem.
Your last name is banned.
Oh.
All in the wording. It's all in the
It's all in the wording, exactly.
You can use the
It's
word.
in the
you
copy.
use, just the way that you use it is what matters.
Yeah,
You say
exactly.
Brendan you, but you can't say you must do
Yeah,
it.
exactly. So you can get your message out, but the way you say it has a big effect if on the approval.
And who's reading? Who's reviewing it?
There's a team at Facebook that's dedicated just to approving these ads. Every ad you submit, it goes under review first.
Are they using AI to review it or actual people?
I think they use AI, and then actually they use AI to push it out first, and then they review it afterwards to get the ad out. Because I've had ads that went out, and then after a few days they got unapproved. So, and you guys will probably get an ad ban here and there. You know, some of them they also. Another one is that if the picture, Facebook is big into content. So if you post a picture with a lot of words on it, they won't allow it either. So it's not uncommon to get it banned. I've actually appealed some of the ads and gotten them unapproved because they didn't do it properly. So this one is, I'm sure you guys know this, the Fair Housing Act. You know, you don't want to, segregate or say anything that might offend anyone. You don't want to talk about race or color, national origin, religion, sex, presence of children. And this is straight from Facebook. Every time you build a new business page, you have to view the terms and accept it before you run any ads. And that's what this would look like. So your ad may not be approved, and then you have to certify yourself, basically saying that you're not going to do anything to call out those people and confirm that. You guys get that? Okay, so now we're going to go into the no-nos, big mistakes, and basically if you guys are running Facebook ads already, why you guys aren't getting results and aren't getting leads. And it could be from a number of things. Audience and offer mismatch, relying on interest targeting, which I was talking about before with the Cambridge Analytica, crappy ad creative, too much text, boosting posts, failure to exclude competition, and poor/no follow-up. And I'm going to go into these individually. Am I blocking you, by the way?
No.
So the first one, offer and audience and offer mismatch. So in terms of targeting the people, there's two things that really come into effect, and which is the audience that you're targeting and then the offer that you're providing for them. So, for example, you would not market a $1.5 million listing to people who are between the ages of 18 to 25. Most people that age can't afford that type of house, so it would be pointless to even send ads to it.
In other words, discriminate on age.
No, that's the opposite. Yeah, because you're not going to get any leads, and if they are, they're not going to be serious because, and we get people who click, people who subscribe themselves as a lead, but they're not even looking for a house. They just thought the pictures were pretty or something like that. So the more targeted you can get, the better, the better you are. And I like this Sumo picture because that's a little comparison, because you want to get, like I said, here's an example of like bad targeting. I saw this basically for a listing, right? And on my personal profile, I have this: real estate digital marketer, licensed real estate agent at Rivertown's Real Estate Hulu and founder CEO of Social Powerhouse. So, as an agent, there would be no reason why I would need to see that, right? So whoever is running this ad is not targeting the right audience. You guys agree with that, or?
Yeah.
How do you find the audience then?
Yeah, I'll show you. This is another example where this is from the company itself, not an individual agent, but download your complimentary buyer's guide and take the first step to owning a home in New York City. Like, if I was an agent, I'm going to be buying a home myself, most likely, right? I mean, if I have my own license, I probably have access to MLS. I probably have the know-how. So that was poor targeting on them.
But you couldn't tell from that ad who it was who placed the ad, could you?
You could, yeah.
He just blacked it out.
Yeah, I blacked it out.
Oh,
So
that's,
yeah, you see,
you didn't want us to see the
yeah.
name, but it's there.
Yes, yeah, it says it, yeah.
I see.
So another one is over relying on interest/behavioral targeting. And I said it before, but the Cambridge Analytica thing. So remember what I was saying before, Aggie, how there's interest targeting or there's different sections of targeting. You can target based on location, age, interests. Before, you were able to target on behaviors. So you could target likely to move, most likely to buy a home, first-time home buyer, and things like that, which came from third-party companies. But now you cannot do that. Facebook still what?
Now you cannot do it.
Now you can't do it. As of October of last year. Okay. So
But there are other ones you can.
there's other targeting you can do, but most of the behavioral targeting is gone. And the big things that were gone in relation to you guys would be the most likely to buy a home, first-time home buyers, and then income range. So income was a big part of it because you can't target these people. So we don't really rely on that anyways. What we advise people to do is to like you're doing right now, where you post these videos and you get engagement, and then from there you retarget people who have watched certain percent, or because let's say people have watched 50% or more, they're definitely interested in what you're showing. If you have a listing video, or like you're doing a walkthrough of a house, right? It's just like, hey, I'm Brendan, here's a walkthrough of whatever 123 Main Street, and you go through the house. If someone watches like 75% of that, they're most likely some kind of interested in looking or buying that home, right? So and you can run that ad too. So that's a great way in terms of how to target people, and I'm going to go into actually how to do it. But this slide is just mainly to say that you can't really rely on interest targeting and behavioral targeting. That's what I was saying. It's a short-term solution to a long-term goal. So instead of interest and behavioral targeting, what we want to do is use custom audiences, and that's really king for Facebook targeting. That's what all the big e-commerce companies do. They use custom audiences. If you use, if you just target based on interest, that could not even be a real representation of who that person is. Just because let's say I could just go on Zillow because I could have found another ad where I just went to Zillow, and then from there Facebook is retargeting me, and it could just be not even a house that I'm interested in. It could be a house in like Virginia or Rhode Island or something. And so this is an example of once you're in the ads manager, this is what it'll look like. These are what I was talking about. Behaviors: likely to move, recent home buyer, recent mortgage borrower, income over 500,000. This is what people did before, like real estate agents who had a simple understanding, and it worked. But now that they took that away, a lot of agents are having trouble finding business from Facebook because of that.
Why did they take it away?
Because of the whole Cambridge Analytica. People felt like their privacy was being invaded. So they took out that option for, like, have you guys seen that where, you guys are talking about something and then randomly it'll show up in your ads? That's kind of what it is. So, like, for example, you guys went to IKEA and then like you guys see ads for IKEA everywhere.
It's also the great way to get a discount. Like, say you're,
Yeah.
you know, you want to buy a refrigerator, a certain brand, or a TV. You know, you Google that, and then you go to one of your favorite websites like ESPN, and you'll see an ad for a discount for that.
You're
It's a
right.
great way to get discounts.
There's actually,
So-
there are workarounds where, I know there's another company that, where they actually just purchased the data from, it's big data that they're getting all this information from. Hey,
Brendan.
Aaron, yes.
Sorry for my
Yeah, no problem.
What's wrong?
No, you should put one on it.
Okay, so, you wanna just introduce yourself really quick?
I'm Aaron. Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
Dan,
Hi, Bill.
it's a pretty small group, so.
Nice to meet you.
Jose.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, well, good. Are you doing any kind of Facebook advertising right now?
Just like current listings, price reductions and stuff like that, but nothing like major.
Okay, have you gone into like the back end? Yeah.
That's why I'm here.
Okay, perfect. So, like I said, for your targeting, all these behavioral options, they're gone now. So you can't target based on income. And this is, I think in New York City, this is actually illegal. Where you can't, that's one of the classes, right? You can't target based on income, or no?
We can't target based on income anymore.
Oh, okay. So yeah, these are gone. There is a workaround because I know Facebook gets all of its data from a company called Axiom Data, and they provide all that data. So I know there's one company who actually who bought the data from the company itself and is running ads through them, but that's still it's not as effective as using custom audiences. So you can kind of think of it as like if interest targeting and behavioral targeting is like this guy on a tricycle, and the custom audiences are like you're riding like a Ducati or like a motorcycle, because you just get so much more. It's like you're getting data to build off of. You're getting like ammo in your arsenal to use. This is an important slide. Oh, you missed it, but if I had like this gold nugget, usually that's something important that you want to either write down or remember for later. So this is an example of how to, when you're creating a custom audience, before how, let's say like Aaron has like a listing, right? So let's say you're going through the house with your phone, just doing like a video tour of the house. You can promote that on Facebook and get thousands of views for like, I think, what was it, like $20 in my other slide? And then from there, you can retarget people who have watched, 10 seconds of video, 25, 50%. So I was saying before, like if someone's watching like 75% of your listing video, usually that means they're pretty interested in, learning more about the house.
Okay. Should we cut down the length of the video so you get 100%, or should I make the content better, or why are they only 75%?
75% is a really good number.
Yeah, 75 is
That's
really good.
if you can get someone to watch 75% of your video,
Yeah.
that's great. You
I
don't want
think,
to change
like-
anything
like-
about the video.
Okay.
Like think about it. How often do you watch 75% of a Facebook ad video that comes up?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
If you're
so-
interested, you'll click it and you won't watch the rest.
Correct.
Exactly. So if someone's watching 75, that means they clicked it and they watched the whole thing. So 75 is a great number to have. Do you have any other questions before I move forward? I know you just got here, so do you have any questions before I So now we go into the ad creative. This would be the picture that people actually see. This is basically the first thing people see. First thing that you're going to see on an ad while you're scrolling on your newsfeed. So the first thing you see is the picture, of course. The text is all text, but you see the picture the most. So you want an engaging and attractive picture to really captivate your audience. Usually, like video always works better because video is, you know, it usually goes video as the top, then picture, and then text. Because video is when you have movement, you have a much higher chance of captivating them. In terms of your listings, you don't want to pick a listing that is not furnished. So, like, if you see this picture, you know, I mean, if I was scrolling down my feed, I wouldn't really stop to admire, oh wow, look at those wood floors, or, you know, look at that empty space. But if it's more like professional pictures, furnished, more people have a much higher chance of stopping and actually reading what you had to say about that. Okay, so too much text. So I'm not sure if you guys follow like CEOs and like entrepreneurs, but there are some, and because I follow them, so I get a lot of ads, and I'd say they probably have the most text. It's literally like scroll, 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 and then it stops, and then it'll show the video. So so they have a lot of text, but you don't want to have too little text because then you're not really engaging your audience. I'll show you guys later. I like looked at all your brokerages, what the ads they're running right now, and all the ads they're running are very short. You know, it's very cookie cutter, like check out this home now, and then the link. And I'm not, you know, and it just leads to the page. So, you know, that could definitely be improved. Ads with a higher amount of image text will be shown to fewer people. So if you have so much text, think about it. Facebook, in Facebook, there's something called the relevance score, which tells you how well your target audience is responding to your ad. So if you have a 10 out of 10, then you know you're definitely getting leads for like a few dollars per lead, you know. But if it's like the relevancy score is less than 7, then you're going to start paying a premium to show those ads because that audience doesn't even want to see it. So you're paying a premium to show it to them.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Is this the text on the image or the text?
Both.
Oh, okay.
So I'll show you actually. Oh, you know what? I'm not sure if it'll show. Oh no, it doesn't show. Okay, let me. Because I was just showing this tab. I was only presenting on this tab, so let's see if I can show you guys kind of what I'm talking about. Okay, hopefully this works. So this, whoops. Okay, so there's this link where, it's right here, Facebook text overlay.
Mm-hmm.
It's this link right here, where you can actually see if your ad will get approved or not before you actually submit it. So let's say you have a text with like, for example, you have a picture of your listing, right? And then on the bottom you say the address and then 5 bedrooms, 2.5 bath, this many square feet. You can check on this if it'll have too much text. And if the more text it has, the less people it'll show to, because Facebook is all about content and less about, you know, just spamming them with text.
And that's the text on the image. That's not the
Correct.
post text, right? So is that still 20%?
I know it was 20% a while ago. I'm not too sure how much it is now. Like this is one that I did for one of my clients. Okay. Previously, they had that automated 20% rule where if it's more than 20%, they just won't allow it. But they've done away with that in the past year, and now they're more conscious. Like they'll check it because a lot of them wouldn't be in that 20% rule, or it was necessary to be in there. So now they have, you know, they're like the request manual review or something like that. But still, the fewer words will work better. Okay, so next would be the failure to exclude competition. So this is all the interest targeting for demographics, interests, and behaviors. So you can target, this is where you target people who are on Zillow, on Trulia, looking to buy a home, whatever it is. but you want to make sure you exclude these things. I mean, actually, why do you guys think that?
Because it's your competition, and they'll see your ad, and they'll click your ad, and they'll just charge you over and over again. That's one reason.
Well, that's one reason. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you can actually, you're able to look at all the ads a page is doing now. Did you guys know that?
Say that again?
You can look at all the ads a certain page is doing. So now, if I go to here, right? I click on. I was actually just on this yesterday. Who was from Coldwell Banker? You, right?
Yes.
So this is the Coldwell Banker brokerage, Connecticut and Westchester, right? This is their business page. This is what a business page looks like. So if you scroll down, actually just on the side, you should see info and ads.
Yep.
You can see all the ads that they're running currently.
Yeah.
So they're running these ads right now. And what you're saying that spending their ad dollars, I don't think it's gonna make a difference because they're gonna still show it anyways. If any, I mean, it probably will because they'll just show it to that same person over and over again, like that type of person, based on its, you know, its algorithms and everything. But this is the ad that they're doing right now, and you see how it just has really no text that, I mean, no text in the image, which is good. But like you see how it's such little text that they put here. I mean, I'm not really getting any kind of, there's not even a call to action, you know? I see this and I'm like, oh, what do I do? You know, a lot of people aren't experienced with Facebook. They don't know that you can actually click on this. They just see, oh, this is cool, and then just keep on scrolling.
Don't they
So-
know you can click on the image?
A lot of people don't actually. A lot of people
I don't use Facebook and I assume you can.
Oh yeah, no, you can click on it, but some people assume it'll just make that image bigger. You know how it'll zoom in and,
But in fact, it'll give you information, right?
yeah, but if you
Click on
click
it
on
now.
this right now, it'll lead you to another link. So it'll lead you to this.
Is that the MLS?
This is, no, this is,
Oh, the Coldwell Banker site.
right. Yeah, so this is what Coldwell Banker is doing right now, but there's no call to action, and I mean, I wonder how many leads that they get from this actually. Because I know there's a difference between click-through rates and actual lead information.
Yeah.
I remember, yeah, you said that before.
Great click-through rates, but my leads,
I-
because I don't have a landing page like this that really, like this is at least a lead gen landing page.
Right,
All
see,
in
you
text,
have options
you can-
to,
right.
you have an option to, you know,
Like right there.
Yeah,
I
this
don't
is-
have to like if I'm on the phone, I can contact that agent. On our-
Actually,
our
well,
landing pages, we can.
what would be better actually, like I spoke to someone who was in charge of running all the Facebook ads for Houlihan Lawrence, the whole company, and they're doing something like this basically. It's a very cookie cutter, and it's exactly like this. They say, you know, they say what it is, and then they have the listing, a link to go to this, basically a landing page. But the thing about this is, think about how many people actually, you know, do this. How many people actually call it text, you know? And a better and they don't even show the pictures of the other, like do they show the other pictures?
You should be able to click through on that picture. If you-
Okay, so then you have to log in, yeah.
Right.
But a better landing page would be if it brings them to a page where they just have first name or full name, email address, and phone number, where they have to put in their information and then they get all the information. You know, and we now have it in Facebook where a form will pop up and their information will auto-populate, so they just have to click submit. So this is Coldwell Banker. We can also check out Rand Realty, see what it has.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, try it, but do Bad Homes and Gardens Rand Realty.
Oh,
That one?
is that the one for Westchester?
Uh,
You can check. I'm not sure if, okay, so it's almost the same exact thing.
Right.
If you click on it, it'll go to the site. And I know a lot of other people that are doing this, and I've heard that they just click and then they leave right after. Like they may look at the pictures and then just leave. Or they call their, you know, whoever it is. But that's what they're doing. And then the other one was Exit RPC, right?
So this page from Rand Realty
Yes.
has to be linked to an individual's Facebook page. So it would be somebody in Rand Realty, maybe the manager or something.
Maybe a group,
And there's no way to tell. But if it's a group, It still has to be linked to somebody's personal page, right?
Right. So creating a personal profile page is like creating yourself online, basically. From there, you can create a business, right? Just like how you can do in real life, you can also create a group in real life. So every group has it'll show its how to say it? Its members and admins. And then I think does your exit RPC, right?
We have, yeah, I'm exit RPC. We have the RPC page and we also have an exit page. Because RPC is in my office, and then we have the exit, which is
The actual.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a closed group. So this is a group page. So you see how you can see the admins. So you can see all these people who are in here. Oh,
That's not the business page.
no, this is a group page. Yeah, actually, I spoke to Kristen recently, actually.
And she's in Long Island today. I tried to get her.
Yeah. But so yeah, so that's the group, and then you said the other one was exit.
Just do exit realty. Yeah. Second one should be.
Oh, this one's on Target though, so I don't think this will be as targeted because we're in Westchester specifically.
Right.
But this one might have better ads because it's representing all of. So let me see what happens if I click one. Oh, so I guess it just leads to their website. Okay. But yeah, so and then I guess we can try Houlihan Lawrence too. I know. I mean, I've spoken to the guy. Oh, they're not running any ads. Never mind. Okay, but you guys kind of have an idea, right? Okay. Let me. Okay. So, like I was saying, you can basically see all the ads any page or group is doing. You know, it doesn't really matter. You don't have to worry about someone stealing your ads, you know, because you don't really know how good that ad is doing, and then also anyone can steal the ads now because Facebook wants to be more open about the type of ads that they're showing to people. The main reason I would say is because, actually wait, you only answered. What do you guys think? Why would I want to put these exclusions and not target these agents?
They're not customers.
Exactly, yeah.
But they bring buyers.
True.
So that's so why would you want to exclude people? Like not every agent going on hot sheets every day and looking at the new listings.
Right.
Why wouldn't you want to have more agents on Facebook more times than they're going to be on the MLS?
True.
So why would you want to exclude them?
What
I
do you
don't
guys
think
think?
agents would get the information that way. I think most agents would probably go to, they get
MLS.
After they've
Yeah,
seen
but that's
after they
not-
see an
I
interesting
agree.
listing, they're going to go to the MLS and
I
look it up.
agree with you.
Especially on the
Exactly
commercial
right.
side. Yeah, especially in the commercial side.
I would,
Yeah.
honestly, I would just run, and I've done it, I would just run an agent ad, and I would create it for the agents instead of consumers, right? So I've done that for broker open houses.
Right.
Where I've just created an ad, and I've only included agents, and I excluded everybody else.
Exactly. So that's something you could do. You target agents only for. Another one is if you're recruiting, you could also only target agents. But in terms of finding buyers and sellers, like Daniel was saying, buyers and sellers are not agents. If anything, they can represent themselves in their own transactions. Another one is that, like I said before, custom audience is king, right? The more data you build, the more ammo you have in your arsenal, right? The better you can target your audience, and you don't want any realtors in that audience because once they go in there, it's hard to get them out.
I've received emails from brokers, and I know they're making a mistake by
Do you mind
targeting
flipping this out, by the way?
or by failing to exclude me. Because why am I have one Coldwell Banker broker that I've gotten emails from saying, why choose me? Experience, another ad,
It's just
why
saying
choose
that I
me? Integrity, why choose me? Result. And I've gotten numerous emails from this broker.
Yeah.
It's pointless for them to do that.
Do you guys think it's more important to include or exclude your settings, your options?
Exclude.
Okay, why do you say that?
You can exclude brokers.
Mm-hmm.
If you target by including certain people, that's not gonna exclude the brokers.
I'm never insulted when I get an email, any type of ad from another broker. It gives me information that I may not have immediately.
I'm not insulted when I get it.
No, but I look at it and it would lead me,
Yeah.
as you said, to an MLS number to be able to make an appointment if I have a customer.
Sure.
So I like the information. I appreciate it. It's
Yeah, no, some people
informative
do.
to me.
I think, but
You
with
wanna be sending it to another broker.
I don't know that I would target them, but since they've already targeted me somehow, it's fine with me. But
Mhm.
actually, if I am putting a listing on, why not? Because they're getting me, some leads, some information.
Man, if I could have a blimp in the sky that says, come to this listing,
Right.
and shout it out from the rooftop, and every broker in Westchester could hear it, I'd love that.
Yeah.
I want every broker to know about my listing.
I think it ultimately depends on the goal of the campaign, right? What we're going to learn soon from Brendan is that every ad has a different goal. So it really depends on the goal if you want to include or exclude certain people like real estate brokers.
right.
I guess if I'm trying to I guess the only thing I could think of is if I think that my client base is so big that I want only to do in-house deals, right?
Right.
That makes sense, but it's not gonna happen.
Actually,
you need the other brokers. in the
Right.
marketplace.
Actually, it's better to exclude than to include. It's better to exclude real estate brokers and agents because if you're doing what you're doing well, if you're advertising really well, you don't need to worry about, finding, like, let's say, advertising a home for another agent to see.
Mhm.
If anything, you'll get that buyer or seller yourself. And why find an agent who has a client when you can get that client yourself?
Okay.
Because
Because I don't work with buyers. I only take listings. I
Okay,
don't want buyers.
But then
I
you
want
can-
other agents to show my listing.
exactly, but you can still take out the realtors and then only target to people who are looking to sell. But in general,
Okay.
targeting people, excluding realtors is better than including sellers. Because you don't want to, because for, like, you're casting, I mean, we do both, but
Okay, yeah.
it's better to exclude because you're gonna cast a general net, right?
Okay.
People who are looking to buy typically have a home to sell,
Okay.
right? And then also people who are not ready to buy now might be ready to buy later.
Well, they can be renters who are looking to buy, don't necessarily have homes to sell.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, it's better to have that in your database than to have a realtor. And then also for the retargeting purposes, you don't want realtors in there because then that's going to screw up all your data. And I'll get into like the
I
custom.
mean, you can create multiple custom audiences.
Exactly, but for this one ad, you're probably going to use a certain custom audience
Right.
that's building into it.
Right.
Do you get what I mean, or like you seem to have some kind of like?
Yeah, I don't follow the logic here, 100%. I'm
Okay.
listening. Well,
Okay, yeah, I'll get into it because I think maybe once I get into it, you'll kind of understand more.
Yeah, I mean, you're a realtor yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know when you go in the MLS, you could reverse prospect. You can see all the brokers who have shown your listing and emailed
Right.
your listing. That's a huge resource that I use. When I
That's
see
true.
that one listing has been emailed, a lot of times, I'm expecting that broker to schedule a showing.
Right.
My listing.
And you're saying you want to maybe advertise to all those,
Yeah, I want to get as many people to see my listing as possible.
right? So if you're going to do that, it's better just to email them. You don't want to spend money to show it on Facebook when most of the time they'll scroll through it. If you send them an email, it's more personal and they'll probably read it. And Facebook, I mean, you want an audience of like thousands to tens of thousands,
Sure.
sometimes even hundreds of thousands. So, for if it's like a listing or something, then it might be better just to send an email. Yeah. Unless you have like thousands of people.
They send the emails. The brokers send the emails when they see the listing. The
Oh,
brokers
so
will
that's
go
even
onto their
better.
drip campaign and they'll like
That's even
send
better,
it to
yeah.
every synagogue, every church, every whatever, and then
Oh, so
I'll
that's
see one of
already.
my listings has like 10,000 emails sent.
Yeah, that's
But
probably.
that's not sent from me, that's sent from the brokers. I don't send one email out.
Oh, so then.
I wait for the brokers to send
Oh, so I
it
would
out.
suggest that then, yeah.
Yeah.
Because then that's also more. That has a higher chance of them responding to it.
Correct. So then that's why I'm saying. I'm not trying
No,
to
no, no,
I'm trying to
no,
understand.
it's fine, yeah.
That's why I'm saying it makes sense to include real estate brokers.
No, I'm saying it's better to email them than to advertise on Facebook at all.
Why do you have to do? Why is
Because they have to
one
click on
usually
these.
exclusive?
Because Yeah, because you're paying money to show these ads. It doesn't cost anything to send an email. And then also, you want, unless you have like more than 50,000 people that you're sending it to, then it's really not worth it because, because I've had a custom audience of like, 500 people, and if you have a certain budget, Facebook will expend that budget if it can. And if you're showing that same ad over and over again, it's not really going to get as much results as opposed to calling or emailing them, which is also free too. So that usually is a better option. Do you agree with that or not really?
Not really. But I hear what you're saying.
Okay.
Look,
I mean, no,
I'm
you're
a
certainly.
buyer, right? I'm a buyer. There's 3 houses, right?
Yeah.
One of them has 2 bedrooms, one of them has 3 bedrooms, the other one has 2 bedrooms, right? So the first one is in shitty condition, the third one's in great condition, right? I'm the agent. I've gone through a buyer interview with them. I know exactly, they filled out my buyer packet, they've signed my VIP buyer agreement, they've gotten pre-approved already, they go through my system, I know exactly what that person is looking for, right? Now I know that 80% or more of buyers are coming from the internet nowadays, right?
Yep.
So I know that these people are going to be scrolling through in desperation to find a home like that, right? And as the agent, I'm wearing a different set of goggles. I'm looking at these listings, I'm going, whoa, Mr. and Mrs. Smith want this house. Now it's my job to sell them this house.
Right.
Not to push 20 listings in front of them or 30 listings in front of them, but to say, I'm going to filter out the listings that apply to them. So it's actually almost more effective to show the listings to the brokers.
But why not just send? But I thought this was your buyer though.
Yeah, I know that.
But why don't you just send them an
the
email?
buyers will be able to sell the brokers better on the listings than the consumers themselves. I feel.
Wait,
when I
no, but
send
I'm
like
saying
30 listings,
because
I never get anything done. When I send 5, and I'm the broker saying you should see these 5.
Yes. So then why don't you send a home finder to them and just target only those 5 that you're looking? Say, hey, I have these great homes for you, or whatever it is,
Right.
as opposed to. I mean, no, I'm not saying you can't do it that way.
Right.
I'm just saying versus excluding.
Yeah, I guess the only thing I do agree with is that there's a budget here. So then what's the most cost-effective thing to do?
Right.
But as far as like, if there wasn't a budget, I would think, why not market to everyone? Only because of the cost.
You
the
can,
cost aspect in my
you
opinion.
can, but there's also, I mean, you have the option to do both. I was just getting your guys' opinion on which one was,
Okay.
better
Yeah,
to
if you have
include or
to choose
exclude.
one of the two, then I understand. But
You're right, but then also if you're only including, I mean, if you're only if you don't do the exclude, there's only the number of the reach also matters too, not in addition to spending, because if your reach is only like I don't know how many agents or buyers you have, but unless it's like tens of thousands, then Facebook is gonna say, oh, this isn't enough people to show. And when I actually create the ad, it'll show it'll have a meter. Have you done any?
No, I haven't. That's why I'm.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
So it'll show a meter saying your reach is good, bad, medium, or bad. Like, you know what I'm talking about, right? And if it's on the bad, it's not gonna show it to as many people, and you're gonna be like I said before, paying a premium to show those ads when people, they don't want to
What
use it.
determines?
Maybe I missed something about myself, but you already have these clients, right? So either you send them a home finder that says find me everything in White Plains, for example, or you scroll yourself and say, okay, out of that 20 new properties from White Plains, these 5 fit them, and I just send them these 5 from MLS or something. But isn't it on Facebook? These are not your clients. These are something totally like somebody else,
They're my
right?
listings.
So you're trying
They
to
are my
get,
clients.
huh?
They are my clients. They're my listings.
Oh, so if you're
No,
exactly.
but these.
Oh no, but you're saying you're using your listings to get buyer clients.
I'm using my ads on Facebook to bring buyers to my listings.
Right,
My open
exactly.
houses.
So
Exactly.
listing, but then you're trying to get new buyers.
Correct.
Right. So these are not these are not your buyers. Because your buyers you already control
They
kind of in a
can be,
way,
yeah.
right?
Mhm.
But these are new buyers that could be from White Plains, could be from
Sure.
somewhere else that are
Sure,
looking.
sure.
So you're getting a new audience,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
But they wouldn't know that it's your listing until they're on their Facebook and then something pops up and they click on it.
So then why would you want to advertise to those agents that are representing buyers when you can just get those buyers yourself?
Because a lot of
Because-
times they're already working with an agent, right? So, or sometimes like I am actually I don't, you are not here, I'm actually working already with Brandon for like a month, and then I'm
Okay.
signing up.
Sure.
So I get a lot of leads.
Okay.
And not all of these leads are good, like
Okay.
I would any other
Right.
internet
Right.
platform,
Right.
but all of these are new clients.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you just have, you know, you work with them, you try to get them on board.
Mm-hmm.
I must have missed something.
No,
I'm
yeah.
trying to understand. Okay.
Yeah, because like why? I mean, why pay to find an agent that has a buyer when you can get a buyer to actually that you can represent yourself for less. It's going to cost less to target all these buyers. I mean, you can do both anyways. But yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay. And what do you think, like, of the when you're targeting these buyer clients, what's like the conversion rate?
There's so many factors: the quality of the campaign, the relevance score, the audience, the custom audience. There's a lot of factors that go into it.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to get a high conversion rate if you don't have a high relevance score. So it really depends on your ad and the goal of the ad.
Okay. So assuming
Yeah.
you've done a good ad campaign,
Yeah,
what's I guess you can't give me an example.
I'm going to go into it later, but the Facebook campaign is also part of it, but a big part of it is follow-up and actually
Follow-up.
converting of those leads because
Right.
I mean, you can get
That's why, for that reason exactly, is why I think it makes sense to go to brokers. Because the brokers are going to be doing the follow-up. You're not going to convert all those.
But the thing is that brokers have access to MLS.
Of course
If they
they
have a house they want to see, they're gonna.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, no, it's fine. It's a moot point. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, and I mean, no, you're certain.
Agree to disagree.
No. I mean, the thing is, Facebook is so versatile. You can do both.
Yeah,
You know,
I think
so
I think you should.
I mean, you're welcome to do both.
Yeah.
Are you guys boosting your posts at all?
I heard that doesn't really work so
Yeah.
well, right?
Yeah. But are you guys doing it at all? Or have you
I've
guys
done
tried
it here and there, like when I'm lazy, basically, I boost it and I just do a little targeting on it instead of just wanting to create a new ad. And I'm only doing it when I want, like, views.
Boosting is like there's a button like for people who don't have business pages or accounts where they have an ad account. They can just click boost and then it'll just send it out to a certain number of people and to get more eyeballs on it and engagement. But the thing is like this is not really a good strategy for lead generation because it just gets likes and comments and that's basically it. So you want to use the ads manager if you're going to look specifically for leads. Kind of like what I was talking about before. A big part of it is poor follow-up or no follow-up. A lot of these, a lot of agents, they'll just get the lead and then they call once and then if they don't pick up, then they give up on that lead. But the thing is, not everyone is ready to buy a home and they may be thinking in a few months or maybe they're looking to buy now, but maybe they're busy. So lead generation on Facebook is a part of it, but really following up and converting on those leads is one of the biggest parts. Like if you're not following up with what you're getting, then you're really leaving money on the table because like if you're getting let's say like 100 leads per month, and to your question, Aaron, usually our conversion rate has been like around 2%, and then usually in the beginning, if you have a great follow-up system, and then each month you have, let's say we're getting 100 leads per month, then each month you're getting 100 more leads, and then your conversion rate will go higher because let's say in those first 3 months, there are people who are ready to buy, but then there are also people who are still looking or not ready yet. So as your database builds, then those people start to pop in later. So later on, I would say it gets to like around 4 to 5%. If you have a good conversion, a follow-up system too.
Okay.
You need a good follow-up system and then, to follow with those leads. And then also, like I'm working with Keller right now, and before she works with me for a couple of months now, and she's closed 2 deals from it. So I would have to go back and see like the actual conversion rate, but. Okay.
And of those 2 deals, out of curiosity, were those double-ended?
What is it? Double. Oh, you mean
Oh,
this-
buyer,
this-
seller?
No, those are just buyers.
Just buyers.
Right, they were not my listing.
Oh, they weren't yours.
Yeah.
That's why I was saying, when I think to use this, what he's doing for me is really just to get buyers.
Yeah, buyers.
No,
That makes a lot of
but
sense.
you can also do.
You can get listing, but I didn't sign up for
Yeah,
that.
and I'm going to go later on into the different types of campaigns. Like you can bring people to an open house. You can do coming soon's, just listed, sellers campaigns. Usually for the first few months, I recommend that they do buyers because that's where you can get immediate results and the leads are you know, a lot of times they cost less than $5 per lead, you know? So that's where you can get a lot of results. But for you, if you're just looking for sellers, then
And
you
it
might,
makes a difference, right?
yeah.
What you're marketing.
See, there's so many, that's what I'm saying. It's so versatile. You could run an ad only to brokers and agents.
Mhm.
So it's, you know, you can do it all. Okay, so now targeting and knowing your numbers and your audience. Remember what I was saying before about how to target them? So the power of Facebook ads is found within the targeting. Success and failure will be determined by how well you're able to zero in on the audience that will respond to your messaging. So it has to do with what type of campaign you're doing, how well you target your audience, and how well your ad is. That's how you get to your prospects of buyers and sellers. Okay. So before you guys run any ads, I would suggest to do this statistics. And this is also what I do before I take on any clients. I ask them to do this. You want to find out the number of sales in the area, because if I was actually talking to Kel about this in was it like New Canaan?
No, I think we did Scottsdale.
No, but I think we were talking yesterday, New Canaan in Connecticut.
Oh,
So right, that's the one with like the
Yeah.
$5 million listings, and like they'll sit on the market for like
months because it's so
years,
expensive.
and then they drop the price by like 2 million, and people still aren't buying it, and they're like 10,000 square foot homes. So that's probably not a market we would want to advertise in, you know. So if someone came up to me about that, but I told him that I probably wouldn't be able to do that. I mean, if you want to, it would probably work, but it's going to take so long because not a lot of people are purchasing there, you know. So you have to wait until you find the right buyer. So usually obviously the higher sales are better, because that's where you know a lot of transactions are going through. And you usually want to aim for a market with double-digit turnover.
So what I learned actually working with Brendan was that at first I tried to target Scottsdale. Obviously the Scottsdale homes are high price, right? But we found that I think the response was not as great as I first expected, because I think Scottsdale clients, they're more high end, so most likely they have their own agents. So when I switched to White Plains, the result was much better. And I was able to get more buyers that stay with me, and also close the deals. Also because the price range is lower, so the more people looking. You know what I mean?
So, and I know White Plains has a double-digit turnover. Next would be the absorption rate. This would be the market turnover over divided by the number of active listings. So if you have, for example, 15 sales for the month of January, and there's a total of 30 active listings, that's a 50% absorption rate. And usually the higher percentage is better. You know, that means that the active listings that are on the market, they're being sold. So yeah, higher turnover, higher absorption rate is better. And you want to basically go where the numbers make sense. Like you don't want to go to where I was talking about before, with where the houses sit for years. So some key takeaways. You want to compare 2 to 3 30-day market periods to establish the current trend for that market turnover and absorption rate. If it's low, then I would probably not want to invest your money marketing there. I mean, you can see how it goes, but most likely you'll spend a lot more than you would for another place that has higher sales. Usually seller's market is on the market for 1 to 2 months, and then buyer's market is on the for 5+ months. And don't want to run a Facebook campaign until you know these numbers, because that's how you really know your market. So next would be to know your audience. Now you've done your market research, or some of the market research. Next, you want to know your audience. So another part of your really market research is, what are the top 3 to 5 zip codes that you're interested in dominating, and why? Why you're interested in it. Does it have higher price range? Is that where you live nearby? Whatever the reason is, you want to figure out a good reason to have it. What type of area is it? City, suburb, rural, new development. I know that this helps you when you're targeting too, because in the Hamptons, they might go boating a lot or something. So that's something that you could also include. What property type is more common? You want to advertise like more common property type. How many homes are being sold monthly in their target area, what we went before, market turnover, penetration rate, what's the average price point, demographic, age group, are these millennial or baby boomers? You know, you're gonna write probably different text and copy and image. What's the major details, you know, attractions, neighborhoods, like you basically wanna know your market, you know, that you're advertising in. Are there certain theaters or, you know, food markets, whatever it is? And then are there any special services that kind of set you apart as an agent? Like assistant home buyer programs or home warranties, you know, 1 hour consultation, whatever it is. But you should know that beforehand before you're advertising so you know what you're bringing to the table for these buyers and sellers. So next is custom audiences. So before, I'm not sure if you were here for it, but we were going about interest targeting and behavioral targeting. Okay, so interest targeting is basically what we were talking about before with, you know, excluding realtors and including you know, people, or, you know, if you want to include realtors, you know, or whatever it is, they're based on certain interests. So like if they're on Zillow or Trulia advertising, looking at properties, whatever it is, you know, if they're looking at home insurance, you know, things like that. Custom audiences is a little bit different. This is based on data that you've already built. So interest and behavioral targeting is just based on people who like a certain interest. You know, they're on these sites, which is good, but behavioral targeting, they took that out. Like most likely to buy a home, they took out income range targeting. So all those types of targetings you can't use anymore because of the whole Cambridge Analytica. You heard about that, right?
No.
Oh, okay. So there's like some case where basically Facebook was invading.
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah. So they took out like 5,000 targeting options.
Yeah.
So now all that is gone, but we don't really use that usually. We use custom audiences. You know, and this is also great to build an online presence because you can use. I mean, you can even use a non-branded business page, so it doesn't have to say, you know, Aaron Realtor. You know, you can just use Westchester Homes, and you can just get. I mean, I've done it before where I got like 100 leads with a non-branded page that I just created before running the ad, and I can show you later too. But that's not really, like I said, that's a short-term solution for a long-term, you know, long-term goal that you're trying to get. So you want to build an online presence and then get a consistent pipeline of leads, right? So custom audiences is how you do that. That allows you to build up data in order to reuse. So an example is, I know like Bill runs, like he did a video of a local restaurant, right? And he promoted that video and that got like, you know, thousands of views. So now all those thousands of people he can retarget.
So what does this explain to me? Sorry for my ignorance here. The difference
No, it's
between
fine.
interests and behaviors.
So interest is like Zillow and Trulia. They're on these sites looking at homes, or family. You know, they're interested in family things, home insurance, you know, mortgage. Behaviors is based off of third-party data providers that they provide to Facebook, or Facebook buys. So this would be like behavior. This would be like most likely to buy a home. So this would be like. This would be like if you go to open houses a lot, then usually that shows that you have some kind of behavior and most likely to be, you know. Oh, also recent home buyers too. So Facebook has that data of a recent home buyer. Like interest, you can't really tell, you know, if you were a recent home buyer, but with third party you can. Third party data, which is behavior.
What you're clicking on, it just tracks what you're clicking on, and it just happens.
That's what interest is.
So that's interest.
Behavior is based off of third parties that Facebook buys from a company called Axiom Data.
Like banks,
Yeah.
mortgage companies.
Yeah, so it's like I gave the example before. If you're like at IKEA and then you leave and then you start seeing ads on it when you didn't even do anything because they knew you were there. And then interest would just be if you were on the site. And that's what, like, if you leave the site, and then you see that, like.
How'd they know you were at IKEA if you didn't buy anything?
Based on,
The GPS?
yeah.
Alexa.
Scary.
That's scary.
I mean, you can turn your location and services
I have
on.
an Alexa at my house. It scares the shit out of me. I talk to like my girlfriend sometimes about something, and I'll go on my phone and like the
You
same
see it?
thing's being
Oh,
advertised.
that's scary.
Oh, it scares me.
Yeah.
It scares me.
I don't have one of those.
That's why I don't get that.
Yeah, I don't have one of
I
those.
want to smash it sometimes, but she's helpful.
So there are basically three types of audiences you can create. One is a core audience, which is based off of the interests and behaviors, right? That's one type. The second type is the custom audiences, which is based on the data that you've been building. And then the third type is a lookalike audience. And a lookalike audience is basically Facebook's algorithm to create an audience that looks and resembles most likely to the audience that you're copying. So like, I know I spoke to like someone who does all the Facebook ads at Houlihan Lawrence, and what they do is they upload a CSV file of all the buyers and sellers, and then they market to them, and then they also create a lookalike audience for them too. So they do that, and that will target, that will create an audience of most likely buyers and sellers who exhibit that behavior through Facebook's, algorithms. Oh, this is what I was talking about before with the meter. So there's a certain audience range, because if you're targeting the whole world and you're targeting a specific listing, it's probably gonna be too broad, So what I was saying before with the agents and brokers, if it's on this too specific side, that red side, then it's gonna charge you more to show it. But if you have enough agents and brokers, then you certainly could, But you want to be in this green area, which is, it depends on what kind of campaign you're doing and what audience you're doing. But usually I would say that the reach is somewhere between like 50,000 to 150,000. That's your reach, And then out of those people, some people will sign it. I think I went over this. Core audience is based on location, demographics, interests, and behaviors. So like age range, location, things like that. And then from there, that's where you would build up your core audience off of. You can build it off of this, and you can also build it off of certain video, watching the videos and people who have engaged with your page. So if you can retarget anyone who's engaged with your page in the last 180 days, I think. So let's say someone liked especially if you have a business page that's only doing real estate, and then someone liked a post or whatever, you can retarget all those people. This is what I was talking about. So all this behaviors, they took all this out. So before agents were able to run their ads themselves, I guess experienced agents, they would be able to do this themselves, but then ever since they took it out, it's been a lot harder for them because
I run Facebook ads as a novice, as a beginner. This is what have we been? We've been
This is
here for
really
2.5
advanced.
hours. We've been in
Yeah.
here 2.5 hours.
I mean, I know people who pay
learned
thousands of dollars for this.
way
kind of stuff.
more
Yeah.
in this
Because
than
they
I
apply
knew.
knowledge.
And all I did was, I run Facebook ads because I watched a couple of videos on how to run Facebook ads, right? Basic stuff. This stuff I just learned in 2.5 hours, I didn't know before.
It'll
I
make your
walked in
ads
here.
much more effective.
It's gonna make my whole process much more effective, everything. Because I didn't know, I know how to run a Facebook ad. I know this is how you do it, this is blah, blah, blah. You put the picture here, you write some text,
Yeah, I
this
mean-
is the basic targeting. I didn't know any of this other
Like
stuff. that he's
I
talking
said,
about.
So you're Columbia University as opposed to Iona. I'm sorry.
Hey, I went to Iona.
Okay. I went to
You know.
Columbia, I'm sorry. So
You know.
No, I mean, if you want
Yeah.
if you want ongoing help, I do offer that. So this is the interest targeting that I usually use. It's a little bit extensive, but this is if you have to use interest targeting. If you have a brand new page, this is what I would do for the first few months while we're building data for you guys. This is what I would do.
And that's not over relying on interest targeting to do that?
Well, if you have no data to build off of, this is the only thing you can rely on. Because let's say you just created a new page, you don't have any videos, no followers.
You have to do it.
You have to do this, yeah, in order to get leads.
And just remember,
because let's say
don't over-rely
And
on
your
it.
agents.
you don't want to. So this is a short-term, like I said, a short-term solution to a long-term goal. So right now I'm working with Kella. I have to do this in the beginning. I have to do this in the beginning while I'm building up data, because I know she's not going to continue working with me if I'm not getting her leads, right?
Of course not.
And if she's not closing on those leads, it doesn't really matter. So I need to get her, I know I need to get her leads in the short term. This is what I'm using while I'm building up data, so then she can build those
If
custom
she keeps
audiences.
closing deals, she'll keep using
Oh,
it.
absolutely.
Exactly, and I have like an ROI calculator to show that, I mean, even, you know, one deal already pays for itself. So custom audiences, they allow you to really hyper target your subsets based on relationship, not just on interest. So this would be the back end, and after I'll go, if you guys want to stay after, I'll go and actually show you guys so then you can see. But in the back, this is what the ads manager will look like. This is where you would create your custom audience. You go to ads manager and then go to audience.
Now, if we hired you, you would do that for us?
Yeah, I'm gonna show you at the end what I do, which is really like a done for you. Basically, you just get leads on your text and email, and I automate.
Really nice.
I connect it
But
to.
I don't do anything, right?
I do
he does
everything, yeah.
for me.
So then that way it integrates with your CRM as well if you use a CRM.
What's your
See
fee
what I
to
mean?
do that?
Yeah, what is your?
What's my feed?
To do that?
Fee
The
to
fee.
do that?
Fee, it really depends. I'm gonna charge you guys, if you guys want to, I have like an offer for you guys, which would be less since you attended the workshop, but I'm gonna get to it.
She doesn't want to wait.
How qualified are you?
Patience is a virtue.
How qualified?
Yeah.
It depends, because it depends because the first few months I'm working with her, she had no business page in general. So I was getting her like maybe almost 100 leads per month, but those were all based off the interest targeting. Now those were about 2% conversion rate. As she builds up that custom audience of data and everything, then that's when, and she follows up, that's when it goes to the 4 or 5%.
Okay.
Because those are people who have seen her face, seen her talking, you know, dozens of times by now, you know.
And I also have to say, you mentioned earlier, I didn't have time to follow up on all the leads.
Right.
Because I had existing business at the time. I was also using Realtor.com, although they didn't get me a lot. But I find that if you call them, they're busy. Next day you get 2 more leads, you call them, and then
Yeah.
you have to do showings, and the next day now you get 2 more. Now I'm forgetting the first couple, unless they call me back,
Right.
Then you make a connection. Otherwise, I am wasting these leads. That's why I think it's better. I am actually trying to find somebody in my office to work
Yeah.
with me, so that way. You know,
Exactly. I know it works better. Like for one agent, I'm gonna be honest, it's basically a full-time job, you know?
It's overwhelming. Actually.
Yeah, so if you have someone to either partner up with you to come in on it, or if you have a team, you know, that really helps too, because then you have other agents that can call, and then I know you can like funnel the leads down. You can do something like that too.
I'm actually thinking of referring some leads out, so
Yeah.
that way I'm getting some.
I know some
referrals.
agents literally just get the leads and then just refer them out.
Yeah.
I'll give you my card.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
So, you know, so I know people who do that. So when you create a custom audience, remember how we click that audience button and then you can have the option to create it. These are all the different types of options that you can create your custom audience. So you can base it a customer file. So if you have a list of all the buyers that you've worked with or your brokerage, you can upload it and then you can build a custom audience off of that. So you can only target to those people. Kind of like the brokers, if you have a list of all the brokers, maybe you can get it from MLS, you can upload it and then target to only them.
Okay.
Website traffic is if people go to your landing page. App activity, you guys don't really have an app, so that's not really going to be useful. Offline, this is in-store, so that's not going to be useful for you guys. But this is engagement, this is really what you guys want to be looking at. And this is going to be people who have liked your page, engaged with it, you know, watched certain portions of a video, like this one. So, like I said before, when I work with people, I usually get them, I would say on average, like between 50 to 100, because on the summer months, that's when it, you know, really comes in. But when you retarget these people, that's when you really start to get results, and you get them through, the leads come in through a lead form over here. So you can retarget anyone who's filled out a lead form. So if they filled out a lead form, that's people that have already given you their information. So now if they either aren't returning your calls or, you know, whatever it is, because the conversion rate is 2%, right? So you can retarget those people and you know, and retarget and advertise to them. Full screen, that doesn't apply to you guys. Facebook page is anyone who has liked or interacted with your Facebook page. Instagram is obviously whoever's interacted with Instagram. And then event is people, if you have an open house that you're posting, or, you know, advertising, you can also do that too. I know that was a little bit fast, but I'm going to send you the slides. So the video part, that's where you really get the most engaging. That's how you can tell who is engaging the best. You can view any people who has watched any portion of this amount. And it's really like unmatched how targeted you can, because that's when you really get qualified people. Like let's say if someone's watching play, it says 75%, you know, that's, yeah. Lookalike audiences, I think because of time, I really won't go too much into it, but this is basically your Facebook is creating an audience that through its algorithms and purchasing behavior and monitoring, all through that data will determine an audience that most closely resembles the audience that you have right now. So it's like if you create like a twin basically, and this works if you've exhausted out your current market already. This is also part of it. So do you guys, have you guys ever met like a celebrity before?
Both of them.
You've met both of them?
I've been both their conferences.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know Tony Robbins is really great.
Yeah.
I work with Guy freelance for his ad agency.
Oh, really?
So, yeah,
The
it's an
Gary Vee
advertising-
Media?
VaynerMedia.
Oh, VaynerMedia. Oh, wow. So like, I know a lot of people when they meet them in person, it feels like almost as if like you've known them before. Do you guys ever get that feeling?
Definitely.
Right, and that's because, well, why do you guys think that?
Because you see them. They're-
Exactly.
They're your, everything, personal, Instagram, Facebook.
Exactly. So this is the reason why you've seen them so many times that like it feels like you know them, right? And you feel comfortable connecting with them,
Right.
and that's the kind of presence that you want to create. So while I'm helping Kelly get these leads, like I said, it's a short-term solution. Once you build out an online presence, like the goal is, then people, as you're just posting, people will reach out to you organically, and that's what you want to be doing, right? That's the goal that you wanted to have.
Become a celebrity.
A local celebrity, pretty much, yeah. And
Become known.
and that's how you really dominate a market. The title of this workshop is Dominate Your Market with Social Media. That's how you dominate a market.
By being known.
Right. And let me get into that actually. So I think this might be a little bit too complicated. But this is the type of sequence that I would do in order to get you guys leads.
Yeah, I'm not following that at all.
Yeah, I mean, you can take a picture, but I think it's going to take too long to explain. But it's a Facebook lead form. After that, you do all your targeting. You post a video, then you retarget off of that video who have watched 3 seconds. Then you do another community video like that restaurant video. Do it again, retarget. And then from there, then you have a lead form. And then people who have completed the lead form, they go through. Basically, they have an option to book an appointment to speak to you or to meet you in person. And that's the whole point of this, is to create conversations and convert on those. Because leads, you have to connect with those leads. I mean, I know this doesn't really, I'm not really explaining this because of time, but.
So this is all, yeah, try again. I really don't understand this part at all.
Okay,
Yeah.
why don't I explain during our break,
Okay,
because
fine.
I don't want to get too hung up on this. So 75% of conversions happen when you retarget people who have already engaged with your content. So kind of like for Kella, I'm doing that interest targeting, but later on, once we build up enough data, so for other clients, I build up enough data where I can just use that data and get higher quality leads from that data.
So you're saying the people that did,
The people that-
they sent me the lead, even though I didn't return my call the first time, down the road, maybe a month or two later, you can retarget
Right.
them, and then this time when they click again, now I can call them and say, hey, we spoke, or I contacted you a month ago,
Right.
or something like that.
Right. But not only that, because right now, do you see how the short-term solution is I'm doing all this interest targeting, and you have to follow up with a lot of them. Once you've built up enough data, then they'll start reaching out to you. So that's what you want to get. Facebook ads don't fail, but the advertisers do. So it's not that Facebook is a platform that doesn't work. It's just that the advertisers or like the agents who are doing it, they're not doing a good job at it, and that's the reason. The tools are available for you to do some amazing things when utilized properly. So if you're doing it right, then it should work. the main reason why agents fail at social media advertising is because of obscurity. People don't know about them. If people don't know about you in the real estate agent business, they're not gonna buy or sell a house with you, right? So you have to get known on social media. And what really works is, there's 3 components really. It's being hyper local. You wanna focus on a specific market or niche instead of just picking all of Westchester. You want to be relevant. You don't, obviously with real estate, maybe the restaurants, real estate, you're not really selling a house, you're selling the lifestyle, right? So you want to portray that in your videos and your content. And then you want to be omnipresent. So you want to be known through, basically you want people to know about you, And that's really what successful.
Can't take you seriously.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So that's all part of really being, Facebook ads are really, social media in general is really hinged on these 3 core principles. And when you understand and can effectively implement it, that's when you dominate a market. Campaigns, and this is now the implementation sort of part. There's 3 different sets. And first is the campaign, your objective, and then your ad set, and then your ad. The types of campaigns that you can run. Traffic is to a website. Engagement is to get engagement on a certain post. Video views are to get eyeballs on a video. Lead generation is obviously to generate leads, and then conversion is to convert to buy a product on a website. So this would be more for e-commerce. And this is in the Business Manager, so this is what it looks like. You can pick any of these options, but these are the ones that you'll be working with the most. So a lot of advertisers and agents who try to do it themselves, they think, oh, I'm just gonna run this one campaign and it's gonna get leads and I never have to worry about it, right? But a lot of times one campaign won't cut it, because if you're not split testing the ad, you can run one ad and it can do terribly, and you're literally throwing money out the window because it's not even targeting your audience, well. And then also, you can't just expect one ad to make you, locally famous, so to speak.
What do you mean by split test?
Split test is you'll create different versions of the same exact ad to see which one will perform the best and get them leads at the lowest cost. So it's not like I just create one ad and then it gets, for example, I'm running an ad for a client right now who's getting, I think $2 and something per lead, but it's not like I can just run one ad and then it'll get that. I have to split test it in order to see, because each market is different. What works in Westchester might not work in Denver, Colorado, or Nashville, or whatever it is. So you have to see what works in your market.
And you're doing this.
Foundational campaigns. This is how I would start off. And I'm gonna speed through this one because I only think this would apply to you actually. Okay. This would apply to everyone. First, you want to start off with a buyer's campaign because, like I said, buyers are the easiest to get. Sellers, it takes a lot, as you guys know, if you guys work with sellers, you have to nurture that lead for a while, right? You have to talk to them a lot, look at their house, do a CMA. As opposed to buyers, you can put them on a home finder and then take them out to showings, and that's how you get them like that as a client. And also, it's the cheapest ad spend, fastest results, and you get the quickest ROI. So with Kella, she closed on 2 properties since September, and she stopped one of the months too. So that's where you can get the quickest results, and sellers is more of a long-term game. Okay, so this is an example of kind of the lead magnets or what you're offering that you can give. One is a homes list of houses around a certain price range. You can also do a buyer's guide. You can also do a listing campaign, a coming soon campaign. And then after that is when you implement the seller campaign. Now this is what I'm gonna kind of speed through, and I can go over it more after. But so first you had that buyer's campaign and then the seller campaign. Then after, you want to include an open house campaign. And these only go on for maybe a week before the open house to drive traffic to the open house. Next, and like I said, this is only for brokerages. I don't think agents would have enough in their budget to do this. But you can also run an expired campaign of expired listings. you can upload a list of all these. You can buy a list for like not less than $100, and it's a list of all expired listings, email addresses, and you can upload them to Facebook and then target only those people. So if you're focused on expired listings or something like that, you can target only those people. And the same thing with, well, that's coming soon. Same thing with FSBOs. Coming soon is like if you have a house that's about to get listed, that's something you can do, and then just sold. So this would be like a full, these are all like the support campaigns. If if you're a huge brokerage and or if you have a team or, something like that. So like I said before, so this is the lead generation, 70% is going through outbound, like that interest targeting. Retargeting is where you get the highest quality leads, and that's through the retargeting. And then you might have like 10% for branding. Retargeting those people who have engaged to get your face out there, and so they become familiar with you talking, and because this is a cold audience that you're advertising to. This isn't like a referral, so you want to get them familiar with seeing your face. This is an example of what an ad would look like. You want to have section 1 will call out your audience. So hey, Westchester home buyers or whatever it is. You want to call them out with a pain point. Generate some kind of interest. Like, are you sick of renting, or do you need to sell your home quickly? Are you looking to get the highest price dollar for your home? Wondering what your home is worth. That's a big one. And then you want to explain who you are. And then offer them a solution. So it might be a CMA if you're working with only sellers, or it can be a list of homes under a certain price, a guide, whatever it is. And then you have your picture. And I know I'm going through this a little bit fast because I have to get through it. But all this stuff, this is an example of one. When you're creating an ad, this is what it'll look like, the preview. And I'm going to, later on, if we have time, I'm going to show you guys on the laptop. So once they see an ad and then they say, oh, I'm interested, right? They're going to click on learn more or sign up, whatever it is, and then it'll show them this. Get access, instant access. I mean, you can customize this too, but let's say this lead form says get instant access to learn more info. They click it. Your info is already pre-populated, so they don't have to type it in. It's very easy, and they're not going through a lot of obstacles to do that. And then they click submit, and then from here, I actually have it, I take it one step further, because when they click the blue button, I say, over here I say, thanks for submitting your information. Click here to take your home buyers or sellers quiz to find out how much your home is worth, or if you qualify for like a home assistant buyer program or something like that. And it'll take them to an automated messenger bot, and at the end, it'll have the opportunity to set up a phone call. So, and I know that's definitely too technical, but I'll get to it in a little bit. These are some of the results. So, these are usually the cost per lead that you'll find. Another one that we've got $2.81 per lead. This was what I was talking about, the relevance score. So the best is 10, and you usually want to get like 8, 9, or 10 for a relevance score. That indicates that your ad is doing well, and basically you're getting good cost per leads. Because usually if it's under 7, that's when it costs like $10 to $20 per lead, and that's when you're not effectively running ads and you're kind of wasting dollars doing that.
Scores are calculated by AI?
Yeah. So it'll tell you, because by the number of reach, people who have opened your form, people that have submitted your form, how well your audience is really responding to it. So in terms of the marketing automation part, how I connect all these softwares together is through a software called Zapier. So Facebook, I can connect it to all your CRMs through Zapier. I can create a Google Sheet, so then that way once a lead comes in, it just automatically shows up. I'm not going to go too much into it, but Zapier is a software. This is what you can customize this too, but this is how I show my leads.
How do we get that software?
Zapier.com.
It's a freemium software. So in other words, you can sign up to use Zapier as a software once you download it on your desktop. And there's a free version,
Yeah.
but if you want to start using CRM and things like that,
Right.
you have to actually pay a premium, which I think it's like, it starts at like $100 per month or something like that, or maybe
Yeah,
less.
I don't remember because I usually pay annually. But in order to use the Facebook leads, you have to use the premium software. So, yeah.
So what would that do exactly in
So-
with my CRM?
Okay. So I know with Facebook leads, right? Once a lead comes in, it's going to be sorted to Facebook. So you're not going to get. So like I said before, conversion and follow up is really important, right? If you don't get a notification immediately when the lead comes in, you're not going to know to call them, right?
Right.
You have to manually check Facebook,
Right.
download the leads, and see what new lead came in.
Right.
So you need an automation in place, so then that way the lead will either go to your phone directly or it'll go to your CRM directly and send them that email or text.
I see.
So that,
So it'll automatically put it into my follow-up box. That's my
right, your follow-up campaign, whatever, you know, if you have an email campaign set up, you know,
Okay.
because a lot of, like, if, imagine yourself on Facebook, you sign up for something to figure out more information about a property,
Mhm.
and then you never hear from them again. You know, that's not really, that doesn't look good on you, and then also you just lost a potential client.
Mhm.
So you know, you wanna, this automation will get you the instant notification
Okay.
and the follow-up.
Here's a question, and this might be a little bit of a stretch, but let's say I'm running down like my call list, right? Like Red X or something, right?
Yeah.
All the leads that I'm hitting on Red X, is there a way that like when they go on Facebook later that day, they can see Aaron Ginsberg?
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah.
How do you, is that with Zapier as well?
Zap, if you wanna do, I would say if you're gonna do anything with lead forms, if you're gonna get leads on Facebook basically, you need Zapier. Because that's how you're gonna get instant notifications. If not, then you would have to manually check every time and it gets pretty tedious. You can also get email notifications. This is more about how to create the ad. You can just write down canva.com. It's basically just a Canva, like Canvas, but without the S.
That's pretty
So now at the end of the quiz, you know, we wouldn't want to disturb you at an inconvenient time, so let's book a time to talk. So now you have, that's the whole goal, to have a conversation with them, for you to go see their home, for you to go take them out on a showing, whatever it is, right? So by doing this, it puts them in almost like a commitment to speak to you, which is better than, because they're reaching out to you now versus you reaching out to them, right? So that's basically, you know, what that chatbot does. And to your question, Daniel, so this was at the ManyChat conference, and ManyChat is the messenger bot that is widely, almost everyone uses it for messenger bots. And the average open email rate was 20%, and for a messenger, like, it was 70 to 90%. Like, if you open up your emails right now, how many emails do you guys have? You know, versus if you open up your messenger, Facebook Messenger, how many notifications you guys have, right? You look at almost all of them.
So this is gonna be on Messenger.
Messenger, this icon. So,
Usually people get messages on Messenger from people they know.
exactly. So, you know, they're much more willing and usually more open to that.
But you're not gonna get a message on this. You're gonna click on an ad, and it's gonna create a message.
There's different ways you can do it, yeah.
Right.
So you can click on the ad immediately. Like, let's say if I do the quiz, if I push an ad that says take our home buyer quiz to see how much you qualify for off your down payment, it would bring them to that. Or I have it on my thank you page. So once I already captured their information. So remember, once I said that information is captured, you guys get a notification automatically. So you guys have their information while they're filling out the home buyer quiz. So now, you know, you guys are really being equipped here. I don't know if you heard that. So this is what the underlying code looks like. It's a little bit extensive, but let me show you guys. Yeah, so, did it freeze? There we go. So that was an example of the messenger bot. I just showed you guys the demo. Let's see. anyways. So now there's a quote that someone has said where if Facebook marketing costs you one dime, then you're doing it wrong. So what I mean, or what whoever said that means, is that you don't want to ask how much it's going to cost. You want to ask what's it going to be worth, because at the whole point, at the end of the day, marketing, you want to get a return on your investment, right? If you're spending whatever $10,000, you want to be getting whatever
100.
100. You know, if you're not getting a return on your investment, then you're literally throwing money out the window. It's not a good marketing investment. So if it's costing you one dime and not making you money, then you're doing it wrong. And I have here, okay, nice. So we created this ROI calculator, which will it's different, you know, there's different inputs. So like, for example, I know you have a team and everything, right? So let's say let's say for me, right? Let's say you decided to work with me and we charge $2,000 a month, right? For us to create all these campaigns, unlimited campaigns. Ad spend is $1,000, which goes to Facebook, right? We don't touch any of that. Some people increase their ad spend like per month, because let's say the business is going well, they do a closing, they want to increase. But let's say we'll do that as $0. Sponsor, we'll do $0. Average lead cost, like I said, we usually get it between $2 to $8. Sometimes we've actually gotten $1 leads, but we'll do worst case scenario 10. Long-term conversion is worst case scenario 1. Maybe I'll do 1 point. Actually, I'll just leave this one. Short term is if like they call and then they say I want to sell my house right now, right? For sellers, it's usually not that common. You know, usually you need to nurture them, so I'll put 0 actually. And then compounded conversion is you see down here. If you look at the monthly leads, if I'm getting you 100 leads per month, you're going to build that database to, you know, less than a year. You're going to have more than 1,000 leads. So some of those spring up later on, especially if you're constantly following up and doing those emails. So, I mean, I put like a quarter of 1% on there. So now what is like your guys, I guess I'll pick you, Aaron, like what's your average median transaction size? 350?
Yeah.
Okay, and then what's your commission rate?
What am I charging commission?
No, what are you getting for your commission?
Well, as a split, so I take 2.
Oh, okay. And then what of that split are you taking?
I'm taking 2.
Oh, so you're taking, okay, so the commission rate is 4 then, and then you're taking 2. And then what's the broker split?
50 with the team. I'm understanding the question.
Oh, 50, so you're taking 50.
I charge 4%, 6% to the buyer's agent, 4 for me. I give my agents 2. I take 2.
Gotcha. Okay, so that's right then. And then do you have like fees? You know, maybe you have like, whatever your CRM.
Well, my CRM.
Yeah,
Plus
so
my-
5%,
plus
so
all the leads,
you should,
which is my lead generation software.
okay,
Like, my fees are like 30 grand.
30 grand. So that's a percentage of, let's just say percentage of, let's keep it at 2.5% of your whole, you know, transaction. This is for one transaction. So usually 2.5 is, you know, because you're gonna have more than,
That's really high.
oh, so.
2.5, he's only getting 2%. He's getting 2%.
So
right,
should I-
as his fee.
Mhm.
So it's like
Okay.
4%, maybe
Should I do-
4% of his fee.
I'll do
is-
like 1%.
No, that's even higher.
So it's-
Because, okay, so 350, he gets 2% himself, right? So his net is 2% of 350.
Right, so it's.
Which is $1,750.
Right.
Okay,
And
so
then
you know what? I'll just put
The fees
it.
that he has to pay are maybe a couple $100, so that's even a smaller percentage of his.
Okay, so I'll do like 0. I'll do like 0.25. And I know it's a lot more than, but whatever.
Alright.
And then referral fee is if you have a referral. What do you usually get on a referral? 40%? Oh, that's pretty good. So
That's very high.
Yeah.
I give it out.
total profit. So
Like,
it says you'd be losing money actually. Oh, but this is if,
You're charging a lot for the person who you
Yeah.
refer to.
yeah, exactly. Oh, that's because 0.25%. There we go. So let's say And so let's say we decided to work together, right? So let's say I charge you $2,000 for unlimited campaigns. Let's say you have 10 listings. I make 10 campaigns. You know, open house listings, whatever it is. Your ad spend is $1,000, and then average transaction size is $350, right? Hoping that worst case scenario, if you don't follow it with all of them, and I mean, I assume that you have agents to follow up, right? So, you know, maybe so let's say
Everybody.
more than once.
At least 6 times per lead.
Oh, 6 times. Okay, that's great.
At least. You gotta hit them at least 9 times to get
Is that
to
called
get
Okay.
stalking?
an appointment.
So-
Everybody told me to not call them anymore.
Okay.
It's the most important part.
Exactly. See, like I don't know if you saw that pie chart. A quarter of it is only to Facebook. The rest,
Yeah.
because I'm getting you the leads, but the rest of it is really the follow up.
If I'm
You know,
rejected, it's
like-
over.
like-
Bye.
At
So
least.
it's really,
At the very least.
it's really we're working together because it's if one piece isn't working, then it's not going to work. So this is this is like on a year. This is like let's say we did it for the year. So the average revenue. Do you see how the first few months you're actually losing money? Do you see that? I don't know. Let me know if this doesn't make sense. By the way.
You know what would make sense if you took your service fee out? So we see what it's like just for us, if we're doing this on our own. Okay.
So you would be losing $1,000 in ad spend every month.
Right.
Then after that, you would close. Right? You have 300 leads that came in through those 3 months. If you're doing it properly.
Yeah.
And let's say you close 3%. Right? If you're following with them 6 times, you should get around 3%.
Yeah, we do.
Okay. Yeah. There you. Okay. Oh, so but let's say worst case, whatever, 3%. That's 3 transactions. You're getting 40,000. Right? And then this is each month. So you're getting consistent, you know. And then this would be total transactions per year. Cost per acquisition. So let's say you know, if you decide to do it yourself, then this would be the cost per closed transaction. So you're paying basically $275 to close on a client. This would be the total ad spend, and this is if I'm not charging you anything, or if you decide, you know, you want to do it yourself. So this would be the total investment, which is these two added up. Then the total annual revenue would be this much.
Did you read that? What is it?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought. Oh, wait. Let me see if I can.
Is that 95,000? I can't see it from here. Or 595.
Is that better?
595.
Can you see it still, or should I make it bigger?
That's fine.
Pay no attention to me.
Okay. So, according to
Total
that,
investment is
those
12,000.
numbers, you would get this much in annual revenue for the brokerage.
Okay.
This would be the annual revenue for the broker, and this would be for the agent.
Assuming that you pay nothing
Assuming.
for that you're doing this all yourself, or that
Yeah.
you're paying nothing for a guy like you to
Right, yeah,
to,
yeah,
to
so-
DIY the
yeah.
entire process.
Right.
Right. If you guys can, yeah. If you guys do it properly, and you guys are getting good cost per leads. Because if your cost per lead, if you guys aren't doing it properly, your cost per lead will go up. You don't get as many leads because you're spending, let's say, $1,000 for ad spend.
How much time do you think it would take over the course of a year?
To do what?
Because you put, to do the work, if we did it all ourselves, the investment is 12,000, right?
Yeah.
What
Let's say.
would be the investment in time if we're doing it without someone like you?
Well, I mean, it really depends on how.
Estimate.
Well, each person is different. I don't know how long it'll take you to actually learn it. You know.
How long, okay, that's fair.
'Cause for me, yeah,
Let's
because
say-
him to learn it-
Let's say, we didn't do it ourselves, but to use you, what's your investment in time for
Oh, how long does it take me?
that? How long would it take you to do all that work to get those results?
Okay, so usually it takes me a couple of hours to do one campaign, and if I'm doing, because let's say for a lead generation campaign, right, which usually gets, like I said, 50 is like in the winter months, 100 is in like the summer months, where I'm getting 100 leads per month, and that will usually take a few hours. Each campaign usually takes a few hours, because I have.
How many campaigns are contemplated in this scenario? 6?
Well, I don't know. This is 0. Oh, you mean in this scenario?
You are doing it.
If I'm doing it, so let's say
You were paid, I guess that's what he means.
Yes.
let's say $2,000 a month, right?
Mhm.
So usually monthly leads will be 100 leads,
Mhm.
and this will consist of a minimum of four I would say four, which includes building your custom audience, doing the buyer lead campaigns, a branding campaign, and retargeting campaign. And those are like the minimum in order to get that short-term results, and then also build out your data. And then if you guys are able to follow, if you guys follow with them, you should, should make sense.
You should start making money the third month or so.
Right,
First
yeah.
couple of months, you're
This-
not gonna be making money. You're first establishing your name out there, putting out the campaigns.
Right.
And the whole
And
process.
actually, you're
Couple months.
you're able to close. In these 100 buyers, you're definitely going to find one who wants to buy or sell. Because out of 100, conversion rate is 3. Most likely 3, you're gonna find someone. But the thing is that 3 are not. Even if someone says, "I want to buy a house today," you can't buy a house today, right? You have to go through all that whole process.
Takes 3 months.
Yeah, minimum. Real estate is a long sales
It takes
process.
6 months.
Exactly.
September, October, November, December. So I took me one for 3 months, one for 4 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
At what price point?
One was 350, one was 475.
Right. Yeah. So and those 2 transactions paid for the whole year. So it's as long as what I was trying to say is that in the first few months you're probably going to be at a loss because these you're going to have buyer clients that aren't able to close yet. Even seller clients, it takes time for the buyer to get pre-approved. So once you actually close on them, that's when you will start seeing these numbers.
And I'm still working with the people from
Yeah,
September.
and-
So it all,
So you first got contacted by them in September,
September.
and you closed already with 2 buyers?
Yeah.
That's good.
The thing is my problem is following up with them.
Yeah.
That's why I need to work in the team,
Mhm.
So you have other people that can,
Your office does have teams, right?
yes, but I don't have.
You're not in a team.
Yeah, I'm not in a team, because you have to find the right person to work with you, right? So, like I was explaining earlier, if I get two leads on the first day, if they didn't call, I call them, they didn't call me back. The second day, now I have 2 more, I have to call 4 people, right? If one person calls me and I'm taking them out the next day, now I get 2 more on the third day, now I have 5 more people to call, and I'm taking this person out. So after a while, you are staggered,
Yeah.
So that's why
You
it's
should-
better to
I-
have a team.
Actually, I know she doesn't have a real CRM in place. If you have a CRM that does emails, like I know LionDesk is a pretty inexpensive one. I think it's like less.
$25 a month.
Yeah,
Wow, that's so cheap. That's great.
yeah. I know
That's really great.
Boomtown charges a lot for theirs, but I'm not sure how much follow-up costs.
LionDesk.
There's a lot of them out there.
Like,
Yeah,
Freemium, HubSpot has a freemium.
HubSpot has a free CRM.
Which
Yeah.
one?
follow up boss.
And that's 100.
$6 or something a month.
Yeah, I know Boomtown is like 300.
Yeah.
So I mean, like this is if and Keller didn't really have any of that. So if you have these emails being constantly sent out, then your conversion rate only improves after that. So do you guys want to try with their numbers? See if it's a little bit different.
I mean, you showed us how it would be if we did it on our own,
Yeah.
right? And you showed us how it would be if you ran our campaigns.
Yeah.
So you're thinking that if we just spend consistently $1,000 a month without even
By yourself.
or even with you, just say
Okay.
we just did, so that's a $12,000 investment in a year.
Right.
And we get 43 transactions out of that $12,000 investment.
43 is a lot.
Yeah.
4 to 3
Because-
or 43?
43.
43.
That's what I said, 43.
Yeah, because if you think about it, because we didn't go for that long, but look, after
Well, I figure two per month, right? And then I have,
that's 24.
Right,
Oh, but
and
this
that's only
but
at
this
the
is
beginning.
but this is a conversion rate of 3%. Because let's say you have that CRM that does emails and you're following up with them. Because I think
well, and also because I'm still working with just those that
Right.
from the first month up. If I were to continue, then I would get more, than probably close more deals in a month.
right, yeah. And also if you look over here, I mean we're like let's say on month 3 or 4. If you or maybe I don't remember, but if you're on on month 10, you have like more than 1,000 leads in your database, which is pretty powerful. You can reach out to these leads and if you have a listing, new listing, you can blast that out to your whole 1,000 leads, which doesn't include what you already have. So, do you
Is it
guys?
only through, this is email and Facebook, or, like, what's, when you're advertising, you're just advertising on Facebook?
This is on Facebook, Instagram, because Instagram is part of Facebook now.
Okay.
So Facebook, Instagram, and then that's for the advertising.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what's the average age of a Facebook user, do you know?
You can actually figure that out.
Yeah, I would love to.
Let's say we build up our audience of your followers.
Mhm.
People who have, let's say people who have bought a house, right? You can create an audience and you can figure out what percentage are male, female, what age group they are, what interest that they have. Because and then you can create that lookalike audience which mimics that. So you can figure all that out. Yeah.
Because like 50% of the people I work with are above 60.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're either in the hospital, they don't text, they don't use Facebook. So I'm just trying to figure out how effective it really would be for my clientele.
Mhm.
You know?
In the US,
The
I'm
average
averaging-
Facebook user is 40.5 years old in the US, and
Okay.
the country of Lebanon is 29. I just googled.
Yeah,
that.
you'll actually, Facebook is like one of the older platforms. You'll actually have a lot of
so young in Lebanon.
older, because the newer ones are more like Instagram. Instagram isn't even that new anymore, because I spoke to someone who has like a 80-year-old grandma that's on Instagram more than her.
Wow.
Just
Um,
But wouldn't it be new opportunity to get more business? Because I know that you're now doing more with probate, right?
Mhm.
But maybe with this,
Yeah,
you
I'm
can
not-
get,
I'm
Because
not-
I haven't started the sellers campaign. I was,
Right.
that's my next step also,
Mhm.
because I'm primary a buyer's agent.
Okay.
But, obviously this thing is more profitable.
Takes a little longer, but yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, I just wanted to show this to you guys, and I can send this to you if you guys, want to use it to, I don't know, if you want
I'd
to
like
calculate
to-
your ad
I'd
spend.
really like to work on this.
I mean, you're getting well over. If this is with, okay, so let's say I charge 2,000 and 1,000, right? And you don't even have to. If you're like a single agent, you don't even have to use $1,000. In the beginning, you can just start with like 500 even, and I mean, you're already getting more than. These are insane ROIs. Like, have you guys tried Zillow?
Yeah, I mean, as a premier agent for them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do that.
How much
3
is it?
times, but it's so.
How much per month is that?
Depends on the zip code. So the first 2 I was doing was with Marinick and New Rochelle. They were charging me $350 a month. But then I switched just recently to the Bronx, to 10468, I think was the zip code. They were charging me $175.
Oh,
It's
Are you
not
getting
working.
leads?
No, you get leads, but they're
I
not so
actually.
qualified for leads. It's not as good. It's
Do
not.
you think it's because of the zip code, or do you think it's because of?
No.
How was
No.
There's
it?
too many.
No, I think people just use. There's so many consumers. It's the first place people go to,
Right.
and then they see a house. They say they
Oh,
click
let me
it.
click
Like,
on
oh,
it.
let me click on it. you know?
I actually know in Zillow's, like, they have a public report. I think their conversion rate is actually less than 2%.
Yeah, and they called me. They said we're 2%, and I was like, okay. No, it hasn't been. I've never
Yeah.
closed a deal on Zillow in all the years I've been in real estate.
I was-
Ever.
yeah.
Like, you have to really take it seriously.
You're really taking.
I was using Realtor.com, I was saying earlier before you, first year I was fine because I was getting dedicated leads. I think the following year they changed so that every lead that comes in goes to 2 agents.
Mm-hmm.
My guess is it goes to more, but they're just saying 2.
Right.
Because a lot of times I even call them like 20 minutes later,
Right.
and somebody else will call them. And
Yeah.
I don't even bother. I mean, this whole year I didn't get any, I got leads, but when I time I call them,
Right.
it's either bad lead or somebody called them, so I
Exactly.
dropped them.
So you don't really get to keep your space with the lead in the line if you're not
Exactly.
super really vigilant. Yeah.
Brendan, does this Facebook campaign that you're talking about take the place of doing SEO, or do you do both? Should you do both?
I mean, you can. It's another marketing source, but SEO, you're paying almost 10 times more. Actually, no, not maybe 10 times. Maybe less, but you're paying because you're paying cost per click. I personally don't like SEO because for here on Facebook, a lot of times you're paying for a lead, right? Which includes first name, for me, first name, phone number, email address, and then sometimes like what's your property address or how long have you been looking for a home, or when are you planning to buy a home? So that's more information than as opposed to cost per click, which you're just getting a click.
I'm not talking about pay-per-click, I'm talking about search engine optimization, not search engine marketing, pay-per-click.
SEO as in, people just look you up.
AdWords.
Yeah, right,
AdWords.
right.
Yeah, that's what AdWords is.
No, but I'm not talking about pay-per-click.
Okay, you're talking about SEO. I'm looking for a real estate agent in White Plains.
Right.
Right.
Keywords.
Yeah.
Search
Right.
words.
Right.
No, but that's all part of it. So I get what you're saying. I Google White Plains real estate agent, right?
Right.
And then the top 3, it says ad under it, right?
Those are paid per click.
He wants the
I'm talking about
SEO.
organic site.
Right, so
Organic
he's-
results.
Oh, yeah.
Effective,
Okay.
definitely use it. If you have
Yeah.
a website that you want to promote on
Yes.
Google search results, by all means,
Yeah.
SEO is gonna help
I
you
think-
become more.
So you
Right,
can
right.
put
But
Facebook
it's not
ads.
gonna, it's not gonna build a pipeline of leads that's gonna be sent to your phone.
I was
It's
gonna
good to
say-
do both.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
More
say,
money.
use both.
I was gonna say SEO is more. Yeah, you do have to pay a lot more money for it because there's a lot more work involved, and then it's more of like a long-term thing because
It's
people.
labor intensive.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, you have to like post a lot. Create a lot of content. So,
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not knocking it. I think it definitely. I've heard it works, but
You don't do it though.
I don't do it, no, because I think it's too labor intensive for what you're getting compared to Facebook. You can, you get much more results with Facebook and so much more quickly. Facebook is like the number one. It's the largest social media platform right now. Has the most
It's
active
the
users.
biggest ad agency in the world.
Yeah, and you can get way more targeted than Google. The only thing for Google is people search it, and then if they click, then they click. But then Facebook, you're showing it to people that have already seen your face, people who are in that certain targeting that you're looking for, and you're showing them exactly what they want to see. So Google is really just showing you what you want to see, and it could not even be that. So I know, I just want to take a few minutes. I know you guys asked me if you could get like ongoing help. So I wanted to kind of tell you how you can work with me if you do want help. So this is how you get like ongoing help. So what I'm offering you guys is like basically a done-for-you Facebook lead generation and conversion system for real estate. And this is different. I don't know if you guys, you guys probably haven't worked with other Facebook ad agencies or companies, or in general, social media companies. But this is very different from that because what I'm doing, or what I'm offering is like a complete done-for-you system. I know a lot of people, they have to, do other things, but this is really all done for you. So basically you just get the leads on your phone and email. And this includes like 3 must-haves for your successful real estate lead generation campaign. This is like this is basically the know-how to do it. I'm gonna basically build a pipeline of leads and prospects that you can market to forever. This is building that database. You work directly with me, and then it's a 3-month program. This is basically a roadmap of what I would be doing. So the paid traffic, I would create the campaigns, obviously, and then they would see the ad, they would fill out the form, and then from there they would go to 2 paths. One is they call you and then they are ready to work with you, or second, they're marketed to you either through email, phone, text, also the messenger bot too, and from there they set an appointment.